glamour and sunshine for the final day of Royal Ascot now on BBC One. Introduced by Claire Balding and Willie Carson.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the final day of the Royal meeting. There is racing here at Ascot tomorrow, but don't turn up in your hat and top hat and tails because you'll look slightly ridiculous. You don't need to. And Willie, the highlight of the week so far, Frankie Dettori, 6 winners. He only needs 2 more to match the record, which was last set by Pat Edry in 1989.
And you little young people forget about the great Lester Piggott. He did it 3 times, 3 times.
He did in 1965, 1975 and 1977, so you haven't forgotten that bit.
Don't forget, there's more of these war babies around nowadays than there's young people.
What is he talking about? Anyway, we have got 4 races coming up later, and the really good news is that the weather is absolutely beautiful today. We've been waiting for the sunshine all week. We've got it today. Crowds are riding here even earlier than normal because they knew the weather was good. A lovely blue sky. They're there in the champagne bar. And when you do get here early and after you've enjoyed all the racing, there is still some fun to be had after the 6th race. And that is down behind the grandstand where the band have been playing the favourite songs. Willie, you always like to go down there and have a sing-song?
So good, lovely, good old sing-song. Ascot's last is sort of like the night of the proms down there. Everybody sings.
It's just like last night of the proms. We'll show you what we mean. And they play all your old favourites down there, and for people who think that Ascot's all just about being grand, this is to prove it's not. You can just go down there by the bandstand and have a really good time.
And then you can get in any tier you want.
You can, leaning out of the back of the grandstand as well. Now, in racing terms, the horse of the week runs today. He is Swain, winner of last year's King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Stakes, beating Pilsudski in really battling style. And we've got another great spectacle. 29 runners go to post for the Wokingham Handicap, won last year by Selhurst Park Flyer in tremendous style for Jack Berry. But Willie, I know I'm particularly looking forward to seeing Swain. You'd have to say he's the best horse of the week, yeah?
Well, of course, he just got beat that far by Silver Charm in the World Cup in Dubai. And of course, he's by Nashwan, great favourite of mine. I wish him all the best. Although he got beat by Silver Patrick of Epsom, but I'm sure that today we're going to see the real Swain. I
certainly think we will, and that could just be another winner for Frankie Dettori. Well, if you want to send us any faxes, the fax line's open for the final time today. The number is 01344 627 320, and we've had a couple of queries already. Willie, one person, Sue, faxed in to say, now that you're just spectating at Royal Ascot, do you miss the action? Do you ever wish you were still riding?
No, not at all, not at all. Had 37 years of it going around with the boys, enjoyed every minute of it, but since I've left, I enjoy not riding.
And a query here from Master Joel Chapman, who says he'll be nearly 15 this time next year. Can he come to Royal Ascot? You certainly can, and in fact you can get in free in the grandstand and the Silver Ring. And Friday's the day for young people in the Royal Enclosure. Well, talking about young people, talking about fashion, it's time to have a look at what people are wearing outside and our dress competition, of course, but I'll hand over to Jeff and Lynda to explain that one.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's been a difficult time, I have to tell you. Certainly because of the weather. I know we keep banging on about it, but I went out yesterday. It's very rarefied atmosphere here, and I walked around and it was very sticky, so people with decent shoes, or certainly fashionable shoes, were having a difficult time. It reminded me of Ginger Rogers, who they always said, you know, she did everything that Fred Astaire did, only she did it backwards and in high heels. So that's what people were doing yesterday.
So that's what you were doing yesterday, walking backwards in high heels, Lynda.
Trying it out.
Excellent. Now, what we were doing all week is choosing which wasn't easy, the 5 best outfits on each day. And Lynda and I were moving amongst the crowds and choosing those. Unfortunately, we came off quickly yesterday off air, so we didn't get to see yesterday's. So maybe you'd like to have a look at our selection from Thursday.
You see what I mean about the shoes? I mean, there's a jolly
Very
nice shoes, but sensible heels, for
But
sure.
this outfit was very sophisticated. It's a kind of light oatmeal colour, very elegant suit, that long fingertip jacket, which we've seen lots of this week, and again, a very pale, light oatmeal hat, which actually lets the light through and makes the face look wonderful. And it had that beautiful flower on top of it. Very simple handbag, keep all your money in, and I thought that was a fantastic outfit.
You know, these sling-back and turned around shoes around the heel, very difficult to wear, but this girl is incredibly well dressed. She's Jessica de Rothschild.
Yeah,
Her
and
father
wearing
has
my
race
tip
horses.
for the week, pale
Indeed,
lilac. Yeah.
indeed.
And again, topped off with a lovely Philip Tracy hat, which is not too wide, but it's got that wonderful quill detail on the front.
And her hair is perfect for that hat. We got a lot of faxes yesterday about hair. Yet again, very delicate but very fashionable shoes, and very brave to wear them yesterday.
Gunmetal grey, a sort of satin slate colour, worn by Suzanne Forte, wearing a Philip Tracy hat yet again, and again, well-coordinated bag, and as you say, sling-back shoes.
Gold shoes. We haven't seen much gold. I thought we would see a lot more because a lot of it is in the detail of
This
fabrics.
outfit was stunning. It was an ombre chiffon skirt, again worn with a very short lilac jacket. It's a Brazilian designer who's actually wearing it. Wonderful green hat, again tipped off with lilac flowers. Now I chose this because of the colour. I thought a lot of the outfits we'd chosen were sort of understated in colour. Again, pistachio green, silk tulle, slightly transparent. Haven't seen many long looks this week.
Wonderful hat, sculpted to her head, really, with all those marvellous, marvellous feathers.
And Mary Louise of Marylebone, I think, designed that hat, didn't she?
Did she really?
Yeah.
Well, there we
So
are.
those were the 5 outfits from yesterday.
Yes. I'm not sure awfully about the Guinevere sleeves, I must say. Never something
Picky as
that's
ever,
easy.
aren't you? Always looking after
It's
detail.
not easy to wear those.
So what Lynda and I have done is we've actually selected out of those our best one, and we've been doing that all week. So here are our 3 best from the week, order A, B and C. So A was the caramel outfit from Tuesday, that very elegant, very chic, beautiful hat trimmed with a dogtooth pattern and just a very simple flower.
But as you say, an odd colour for Ascot, really, that
Yes.
caramel brown, isn't it?
But the length, this fingertip jacket, very correct, proper shoes, ideal for the poor weather. And I thought this lady was an absolute picture of elegance. That's outfit A. Now, outfit B was appropriate with all of the water that was sloshing around. These shoes were the ideal thing. They didn't hold their water. And this lady was wearing lace, and you'd said that, what one, shouldn't wear lace to Ascot?
Well, they say you shouldn't, but Queen Victoria, in fact, wore lace when she was 19, when she came to the first meeting.
And a gold metallic hat, large bow at the front, again transparent that let the light through, and I thought this was an extremely delicate outfit. And that's our outfit B. And outfit C was the Brazilian...
All the way from Brazil.
Yes, the ombre skirt.
Ombre being the operative word.
That's right.
Yes.
Wild colour. Again, exactly what you'd expect from a Brazilian, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very Brazil.
And I chose this because of the colour. I thought the colour was fantastic. And that is outfit C. So what we're asking you to do, the viewers at home, is put those in the same order as Lynda and I, and then telephone in your order. 0891 555 303 is the telephone number. That's 0891 555 303. A computer will shuffle all of the winning answers into the correct order. The calls are 50p a minute, and the winner gets to go to glorious Goodwood with Willie, I think on... Yes?
Meeting.
Claire.
Sandown, I think Claire.
Oh, is it Sandown?
No,
Is it
it's
Sandown?
good.
Oh,
No, it's
Goodwood.
Goodwood.
No, it's glorious
Sorry, I just
Goodwood.
got confused
That's right,
there.
and it's with Claire and
Claire and
Willie,
Willie.
lunch and a designer outfit as well. So keep the
What more
calls
could you
coming.
ask?
The phones are open till 2 a.m. Now, Lynda, sorry,
Yes, that's me.
Lynda
Yes,
had
that's
the
me.
opportunity of catching up with one of the most
Whatever her name is.
elegant of race goers here yesterday, who was very forthcoming in all sorts of things she had to say, and Lynda had difficulty getting a word in edgeways.
The image we have of you really isn't right, is it? You're not just a partying person. I know you don't like to shop, but you're a very astute businesswoman too, aren't you?
But you know, there was a perception of me that I was party girl. I was always out for one reason, because every time I go out, it's being photographed. So I'm in the magazines, in newspaper, party there, but it is happening maybe once a week. But because it's in the picture, people have a different perception of me. I'm a very hard person, a hard-working person. I have 3 children which I'm raising. I'm juggling to be a mom and to be an executive, and on the end of the day, to be really a woman. And sometimes that woman is the last on priorities, because we give to children and to our, our husbands and to, to everybody else. And the last ones which take care of are us, women. So this is what I have to really, I want to make sure that I take care of myself.
You don't need to work this hard, do you? You don't need to work at all.
I don't need to work at all.
Why do you do it? Somebody would be asking at home, I feel.
I don't know. I have this tremendous energy, and I don't know what to do with it. And if I would go and sit at home and have my nails done and my hair done, I climb those walls. I go crazy. I really, I have to do something. I enjoy working, and I enjoy challenge.
Well, thank you very much indeed for coming and spending the time with us, and I hope you
Thank
enjoy
you.
the rest of your stay in England.
Thank you so much. I love ya. Bye.
Was that you under that hat?
Yeah, I can confirm I was the one under the hat, actually. Let's have a little look at what's around today. That would be nice. Wow, aren't they wonderful?
A young people's day today, isn't it? We've got the Chelsea
indeed,
pensioners here.
Indeed. My goodness. Yeah, wow, wonderful, wonderful.
Trousers,
shoes.
we haven't seen a lot of those this year at Ascot.
But they're very fashionable, aren't they? I saw somebody
Yeah.
in a pair of capri pants, actually.
Now that's beautiful, that pale pink outfit, stunning black hat, feathers that we've seen a lot of.
Yet again,
feathers literally
brown
everywhere.
and autumn colours almost.
And that
My
cornflower
goodness.
trim on that straw hat, absolutely beautiful. And the other thing I think is that the gentlemen this year have looked absolutely splendid. I thought they've looked wonderful.
A tailor told me that you shouldn't really wear a lightweight morning coat because it doesn't have the weight to do it. But anyway, we'll have a look at that later. Thank you very much indeed. And over to Claire.
Well, those were the tips for the fashion, but let's move on to the tips for the racing. And down in the betting ring is Graham Rock. And the betting, as we said on the jockeys, is now over because Frankie Dettori is so far ahead. But I should think with the last 2 races in particular today, looking wide open, Graham, the bookies could have the best of it.
Well, indeed, and after 3 days and 6 races still to go, it's levels the devils between the two. Some bookmakers just in front, some just behind. Today, some very tricky races with the Wokingham and the Kingston Stakes, but money in the first for Kilimanjaro, 5-1 into 7-2, a bet of 3,000 at 5 with Chandler's. Ladbrokes report money for Royal Anthem, 9-4 now, 2-1 best. Germano well backed, 10-1 into 8-1 against Swain, still even money that one in our 305 race, and 11,000-10 cash bet with Coles this morning, even 5,000 with Victor. Now 3:45 the Wokingham, Shelter Sky a popular favourite, all was a light, 14 into 12-1, return of our men 20-16, and nibbled at a couple of outsiders there, the Puzzler and Superior Premium. In the Kingston, Ball and Joanne, all the rage, 11-2 into 4-1. Cathedral alive outside. A lot of bookmakers reported each way money for that, 33-1 into 20-1. Later on in the Windsor Castle, Flanders a strong choice, around 7-4. And in the Getting Out stakes, the last race of the meeting, Queen Alexandra, the best news I have is for Lord Jim.
Thanks for that, Graham. And let's go to our own Lord Jim. Up in the commentary position, Jim McGrath is there, and he's been doing extremely well so far. I should think, Jim, though, final day, it's nearly party time, hey?
Almost party time. We've also got the Heath meeting tomorrow, Claire, so we'll have to keep a clear head tonight. But it's been exciting racing. We've got 29 in the Wokingham today. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. But overall, I'd have to say that this has been one of the most enjoyable weeks commentating I've had for a long, long time.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed listening to you as well. And down on the course is Willie Carson, because as we said, a very drying day. How much will the ground dry up? It's now officially good to soft, Willie. Could he be even better than that by the end of the day?
I'm sure, Claire, the ground will end up being good by the end of the day. The stick still goes in. It still goes in, but the ground is definitely dry. And the wind has been blowing. We haven't had rain since yesterday, and the ground, it is not been chopped up at all. The inside rail, where the horses go on the round course, is less chopped up than in the middle. So I would think that the horses on the round course will stay to the inside rail today, because on the middle here, the ground has just got a little, it's just showing signs of wear. But I must congratulate Nick Shane and his team for keeping this course in real good order after all the rain that we've had earlier in the week. On the straight course, when we have the Wokingham and the King's Stand, we've got horses right across the track. Now, I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference where you are drawn, because I think on the inside, where the ground seems to have been better in the last few days, I don't think it's going to make that much difference for horses drawn on the high. Possibly the horses in the middle might be at a slight disadvantage, Claire.
OK, Willie, thanks for that. The good news is, though, we should see horses finishing quicker than they have been earlier in the week because the ground isn't quite so stamina-sapping. Well, the Royal Procession will be coming at exactly the same pace as it always does, and describing it for the final time this week will be Jenny Bond, our Royal correspondent. Jenny, how have you enjoyed your first Royal Ascot working?
Well, I think it's been an extraordinary combination, a real cocktail, hasn't it? Sophistication and glamour. I expected that. The mud and the rain, then the stiff upper lip, everyone enjoying themselves despite all of that. Lots of champagne. I didn't get any, and the racing too, that was good.
Oh, the racing,
yes.
As an afterthought. Well, the Queen actually had a very good week in terms of racing.
Yes, I spoke to someone close to the Queen, as you say, this morning, and I was told that she is delighted, actually. As you know, her horse came in third last night in the final race, and she was very pleased with that. Shaft of Light came in fourth the day before. Again, she was very pleased with that performance. She was going to have a run tomorrow, Rutland Chantry, but unfortunately I heard this morning that he's pulled, or she, I don't know, has pulled a muscle. Yeah, he's pulled a muscle, so won't be running. But she'll be here today to enjoy the racing, and tomorrow as well.
OK, well, Jenny, thank you very much. We've really enjoyed your comments this week. I'll send you off now into position. Jenny getting a bit too keen on the racing side of things. I think we can't have that. She'll be taking my job. Now, we have got 4 live races coming up for you this afternoon, starting, as always, at Royal Ascot at 2:30. The King Edward VII Stakes. That looks like a cracking good race, and Willie Carson has an interest there in Royal Anthem in his role as manager. The Hardwicke Stakes, that features Swain. The Wokingham Handicap, now 29 runners in that, and we finish with the King's Stand Stakes on BBC Two. That's when we're sharing with the cricket, and there are 19 runners in that now. That's because of a non-runner. There are 2 non-runners today. Literary Society doesn't go in the Wokingham, and To the Roof is a non-runner in that our final race, the King's Stand. Now, the jockeys table, we were talking about how Frankie Dettori is absolutely running away with it. He does look like taking his second London Club's charity trophy. He's got 6 winners. He's also ridden 2 seconds and a third. Walter Swinburne's there because of his treble, and John Reed's ridden 2 winners. Eddie Ahern, the Irish apprentice, among those, all on 1 winner. Well, Frankie's 6th winner came yesterday in the Chesham Stakes. He was riding a horse called Rhapsodist. We'll have a look at the betting for that because it was a fairly competitive event, and you can see Marken was the 3-to-1 favourite. Posta Vecchia was there at 5-to-1. Rhapsodist, Frankie's ride in Sheikh Mohammed's colours, 6-to-1. Look out for Dashiba in the final 50 yards, diving left-handed at 7-to-1. And Compton Admiral in orange colours, another one to look out for. We'll join them as they near the 2-furlong pole. Your commentator is John Hanmer.
Just over 2 furlongs to race, and Hishmar and Housemaster the leaders from Rhapsodist. Dashiba's moving up in the centre of the course. Then comes Marken, Posta Vecchia with a lot to do, and Auction House coming very strongly on the stands rails. And over on the far side, Dashiba, Auction House and Rhapsodist between the 2. It's going to be a tremendous battle between these 3 as they run up towards the line. Rhapsodist with his head just in front. Compton Admiral's finishing like a train. Rhapsodist, Compton Admiral and Dashiba.
Well, most people would agree Frankie was pretty lucky to get up there on Rhapsodist, returned at 6-to-1. Compton Admiral was second, very unlucky. Olivier Pellier really struggling to find room at 10-to-1. And Dashiba in the colours of Jeff Smith was third at 7-to-1. But Frankie, the horse to watch out for there, Compton Admiral.
It's his second run, and he ran before and finished second at Goodwood, and there you could see just Olivier getting into trouble. They had to wait and wait and
well,
wait.
We can have a look actually at the head-on, because you can see how many times that he tried to switch to try and get the gap. Let's have a look at this head-on, because it's fascinating. There's the horse with the white cap, the orange colours. It's called Compton Admiral.
There he went to go for a run up the inside. It was blocked. He's got nowhere to go. He got 4 horses in a line there. Richard Hills is dropping out. Now, Olivier must have thought Richard Hills is going to drop. I've got to wait till he drops out before I make a move. He's sitting there, but he's just building these up. He's keeping his momentum going. Now he gets out. He didn't touch Richard Hills. When he gets to the outside, his horse sees a lot of daylight. It just takes off.
And just watch also Dashiba here, dashing away to the left with Kieran Fallon.
Well, these young horses do that occasionally, you know, green, they might have seen something.
Well, another one that'll definitely run better next time.
That is a horse that's definitely going to win next time, isn't it?
Well, the final race of the day was the King George V Handicap. We'll have a look at the betting for that. It was over 1.5 miles for 3-year-olds, 17 runners. Double Classic, the favourite, at 4-1. Opera King, 11-2. 9-1 Legal Lunch, 10-1. Bar those. Let's join them turning into the straight. The Queen's colours right up there with Blueprint. And your commentator again, John Hanmer.
As they turn in with just over 2 to race, and Blueprint making the best of his way home. But here's Double Classic on the outside. Jarzim and Emerald Heights come next, and they're followed by Peradventure coming to the final furlong. And Double Classic on the outside, and on the inside taking it up is Emerald Heights. Blueprint's back in third, they're clear of Peradventure, but Double Classic battling on well for John Reed, has his head just in front. Emerald Heights trying to come back. This is going to be very close, but Double Classic lengthens close home to beat Emerald Heights, then Blueprint.
A fourth winner of the meeting for Sir Michael Stout, who at the moment is leading the trainers' table from Saeed bin Sarur. Double Classic returned the 4-1 favourite. Emerald Heights 12-1. Blueprint third at 12-1, and Indimage fourth at 25-1. And the Queen, as Jenny was saying earlier, very, very pleased with that run of Blueprint in third.
He ran a great race, didn't he? He looked as though he might stay on and hold him at bay, but it's coming up that middle there. It's very, you have to be very strong, and he was never going to find anything. And the other horses just pegged him back slowly, slowly, slowly. And John Reed just was the stronger at the finish.
And as we said yesterday, the conditions very testing. We shouldn't see horses finishing quite as tired as that today, or diving away like they did yesterday.
The ground today with this 24 hours of no rain, wind, sun, it's definitely going to be a lot faster, and horses will not finish as tired.
Well, we're expecting the royal procession any moment now, coming through the Golden Gates at the top of the straight mile here at Ascot, and it's time to hand over to Jenny Bond.
Thanks, Claire. Yes, well, we await the arrival of the procession. The Queen's made rather a point this week of being a little late every day, in fact considerably late in the first couple of days. I've no doubt today they've been having a fine lunch at the castle, perhaps the day for a picnic. The royal family extremely keen on picnicking wherever they are, but I haven't managed to ascertain actually what they've been having for lunch. I'm told firmly that that is private and confidential information.
And you didn't get invited this year, Jeff?
No, what a surprise. Jeff is here with us, and I think while we're waiting for the procession, we'll take a look at some of the fashion.
I thought that was wonderful there. The men are looking really resplendent this year. They're making a lot of effort, and I think a lot of the chaps have actually worn coloured shirts, very dramatic coloured ties.
But they must be suffering in this heat dreadfully.
No, I think gentlemen are quite used to it. You know,
how do you stay cool though as a chap?
Well, a lot of chaps don't have backs in their waistcoats, you see. That's so. But the waistcoats this year have been really splendid, and also dark coloured. That gentleman there wearing a sort of beautiful gold coloured tie.
No, that is to the other extreme.
That is an exception here. Now, again, you don't have to wear morning suit to come here. You can actually wear
except the royal enclosure, of course.
Yes, you've got to wear a morning suit to get into the.
What do you think? What do you think? Sartorial elegance?
I think not. I actually prefer the chap with this wonderful waistcoat. And if only, I think he knows I'm looking at him, but he actually has got the most splendid waistcoat on.
It's very elegant. Very
silver
elegant.
hair, black topper. And I think, again, I'm going to be inclined to buy a black topper for next year, because I think they do look immaculate.
I've noticed that quite...
And finally, he's turned round, and there we have gold waistcoat with cornflower, blue flowers embroidered on it. He's wearing a cornflower in his pocket. He's obviously thought a lot about the outfit he's going to be wearing, and it's worked absolutely perfectly.
I've noticed that some of the ladies, as the one we see there, despite the really hot weather, are wearing long sleeves. Is that the only true way to be elegant?
Well, I think, again, one has to be careful. A friend of mine used to call it the Mrs. Mills syndrome, where you have sleeveless dresses and maybe the underarms aren't quite as perfect as they could be. So I think now that you can get lightweight fabrics, it's fine to wear long sleeve jackets, and particularly that pale blue, long and cornflower blue there. Again, stunning colours today, and I don't know whether it's because the sun is shining, the light is looking great. Even delicate colours like this pistachio green look beautiful when they're moving around in sunshine.
Huge crowds today. Of course, the weather's brought them all out. I noticed myself as we were coming, more and more people making an early start. Long sleeves again. A few, I've seen some ladies with gloves, which to me seems unbearable today to think of wearing
No,
those.
I think gloves are very sensible.
Do
A
they
lot of
keep
the
you
people
cool?
that come to Ascot maybe have actually been doing gardening all week, and if your hands have been in the garden or you've been doing the washing up, cover them up with a pair of gloves.
Do you think that's why the Queen wears gloves?
I don't think that's the reason that she wears gloves, but I'm not sure that she would do her own gardening. But certainly I think it's a tip, and I think Hilary Alexander in the Daily Telegraph said that on Monday, that it was a good idea to wear gloves if you've been doing a bit of gardening.
Wonderful brooch there from the ladies. I suppose you have to think of all these accessories.
Yes, the bag is absolutely essential. You know, although small bags are in fashion, when you're wandering around in the market, you know, putting on your bets, you need somewhere to actually... yeah, the gloves there, again, they look almost like doe skin. They look as if they're a leather glove, and there were only one company that used to produce doe skin gloves for the Queen's household, and they were made specially down in Devon. And very difficult to tan white doe skin leather, and those look like a pair of doe skin gloves to me.
You were talking about bags. I'm not very good at all this elegance bit, and I do not understand how you can have a small handbag and get your Filofax, your phone, your pager, your notebook, and your makeup and your brush. What do you do?
You should actually cut down and be much more selective, and you can buy most things in miniature. That lady obviously is expecting big winnings today, because she's got a fairly sort of hefty size bag there.
That I regard that as minuscule by my standards.
But small bags are in fashion this year, and
well, yet another year of being out of fashion for me.
You can get a miniature size telephone, you can get small accessories, so go for a small bag.
And the band preparing to take position. It's the band of the lifeguards. They'll be striking up the national anthem when the royal procession are in place. They seem to know, don't they, that the procession's running a little later this year. And there they are in the silver ring. Lovely for the crowds to see them taking up their positions. They enjoy, of course, the pageantry of this royal procession. I think it is what makes Ascot so very special. And there we see the royal procession for the final time on this Royal Ascot week. Coming through the Golden Gates there, the far end. And at last we have the weather to do it justice. Gleaming carriages, each of these Ascot landos at least 100 years old, making their way up the course. 4 of the landos, always prepared specially for this week. Some of them kept at the Royal Mews here, and some in London itself. A wonderful sight, a splendid day, the end of a busy week for the Queen and her guests, and her staff indeed, at Windsor Castle. They've been entertaining their guests each day, sometimes inviting them to stay overnight. So a lot of catering for the castle staff, and a lot of socialising for the Queen. But all of them family or friends, as indeed today. And there is the Queen with the Duke of Edinburgh. Also in that carriage is the Earl of Derby, a friend of the family. It's the second day he's been there. And you might just see there also Jean-Luc Lagardère, who is the president of the France Gallo, the ruling body of French racing. So an important day for him. He's a major owner breeder as well. Animated conversation there. The second carriage for the 4th day running, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. She really does like to be here every day if she can. Indeed, I think she'll be here tomorrow as well. With her, the Countess of Derby. And the gentleman in the carriage here, the very Reverend Patrick Mitchell, who is the Dean of Windsor, a regular here at the race meeting. Indeed, he's been here once already this week. Suggests he enjoys racing very much. And with him, Sir Michael Oswald, director of the Queen's Stud, newly knighted. He was in the paddock yesterday with the royal family. In the third carriage we have Madame Lagardère, and with her Lady Angela Oswald, lady-in-waiting to the Queen Mother for many years. And the gentleman, Mr. Gerald Ward, a family friend, particularly a friend of the Prince of Wales, a landowner and extra equerry to the Prince of Wales, who can't be here today because he's on official duties. He has an engagement at Aldershot, presenting a new standard to the parachute regiment. Also in this carriage, Mr. David Thompson, who is another family friend and very well known, of course, in racing circles. He owns Cheveley Park Stud at Newmarket, one of the most successful breeder owners in the country. Indeed, they had a winner here on Wednesday, Exclusive, ridden by Walter Swinburne. And in the final carriage today, we have Mrs. Amanda Ward, Mrs. Mitchell, the Dean's wife, Mrs. Patricia Thompson, who owned Party Politics, which won the Grand National in 1992, and Major General Sir Simon Cooper, master of the household, his second time in the carriage procession this week. Wonderful sight. And with the awful weather earlier this week, we were saying that Ascot used to be held in August, but was moved to June. We were saying earlier it would have been a good idea perhaps to leave it in August. And I'm very grateful to Caroline Benjamin, who faxed us to say the reason it was moved was at the behest of George IV in order to celebrate the Battle of Waterloo. So thanks very much for that. Jeff, tell us about what the Queen's wearing.
Well, the Queen has a lilac wool dress with a fairly delicate woven pattern over the top of it. It's been designed and made by Sir Hardy Ames, a favourite of the Queen's. Sir Hardy in his 89th year this year and still going strong and is in the office every day, I understand. And I suspect the coordinating deep lilac hat has probably been made by Philip Somerville.
With the Queen waving at the crowds who really refused to get depressed by the bad weather earlier in the week. They've shown great good humour, but today this is what they want to see. The carriages really were made for this, to be driven open so everyone can get a good look.
There really is a mixed club of designers for the Queen. Sir Hardy Ames and Norman Hartnell used to design the clothes, and then recently they've been designed by John Anderson, who used to work for Sir Hardy Ames, so it seems to kind of get passed on down the line. And unfortunately John Anderson passed away in 1996, but Carl Race, a friend that worked with him, carried on the design of the Queen's outfit, so they're now carried on by Carl and by Sir Hardy Ames. So they're the principal two designers that now make the Queen's clothes.
And the Queen Mother, one of her traditional pale colours there.
Yes, again, an outfit there designed by John Anderson. Very, very pale, duck egg blue, barely a colour. And again, with that wonderful coordinating hat, again with that flicked back brim that we were talking about yesterday, which is wonderful because it shows off her face and frames it so well, and it's almost a shape that could be called the Queen Elizabeth hat.
Her clothes really are always a subtle variation, aren't they, on a familiar theme?
Well, lots of people actually say that they don't vary very much, but I do believe in the position that they're in to actually establish a look, identify what the public like, and vary that very gently. Again, it's like the monarchy itself. There's a sort of an element of continuity about it, and we don't expect the royal family to be fashion plates. You know, what we expect them to be is comfortable with what they're wearing, and I certainly think that's the job that the designers have done for them.
Well, indeed, and I know that the Queen Mother rejoices in the unchanging pattern of occasions like this. National anthem now, from the Band of the Lifeguards, under the direction of Major Malcolm Torrent. A wonderful scene, repeated year after year, as we were saying, but I think it is just that, the continuity that people love. And the Queen Mother too. She loves, I was talking to someone quite recently, someone very close to her, who said she simply likes a status quo. And the word change, he said, was just not in the vocabulary at Clarence House.
But I think that applies to the way their clothes change subtly and just evolve rather than being sort of radical changes. And it's that subtlety that I enjoy. Duke of Edinburgh there wearing a grey topper. That's quite rare for him. Normally he actually goes for a sort of black silk stovepipe, but today he's gone for pale grey on Friday.
Would there be any reason for that?
No, there is no reason. It's you know, silk and rabbit, which is what the greys are made out of. Both of them acceptable. Normally it was a grey for mornings and the black for afternoon and evenings, and that changed in sort of Victorian times during the time when the whole nation was in mourning for Prince Albert, and it can be swapped around either since then.
The Queen has been criticised in recent years, hasn't she? I've read many criticisms of her style of clothing. Too dull, people say. Do you think it's changed?
I don't think it's dull. I think she's very adventurous with colour, and you know, at the end of the day, she is a mature woman, and she has to wear those clothes that suit her figure and that she feels comfortable with. They also have to kind of stand up to sitting around one moment, standing the next, so they can't crease. She does have to wear gloves. It's part of the ceremony, so the sleeves have to be the right length. So there are certain things, restrictions, that the designers have to work within in producing the Queen's wardrobe, and I think they do it very well.
Indeed. And the Queen Mother there. Prince Charles calls her indomitable, unstoppable. There's a very close tie between the two of them, and he has a great affection for her.
The one thing that I think is magnificent today, Jenny, is the beautiful jewellery that both the Queen and the Queen Mother are wearing. They've got both wearing the most stunning brooches.
Indeed. Turning now into the unsaddling area.
There, delicately placed, that beautiful, it's, you know, silver, diamonds, and the Queen Mother has got the most beautiful brooch on, which is almost like a sort of delicate sprig. Looks like a sort of, almost an Edwardian or Victorian piece of pearl, but it's quite beautiful.
The crowd's now several deep, lined up here well before 2 o'clock this afternoon to welcome the Queen and her family and guests to this historic racecourse for this 4th day of racing, which does promise to be just as entertaining as the last 3, even better with the splendid weather. Queen's been coming here to Ascot since 1945, when she was still an officer in the ATA, and she loved it then, and indeed saw the first winner of an Ascot race trained by a woman, one Florence Nagel. Sun Up the horse, won the last race on the card. But apparently women trainers were prohibited under the Jockey Club rules then, so the horse was said to have been trained by her head lad, R. Brown. So I reckon I'm James Bond. And in they go now. Take
Well
their place
done,
in the royal
007.
box. Oh, thank you. Over back to Claire now.
Well, I think the best sight of the week, given that the weather is so much better today, we get to see the royal procession in all its glory. And our thanks to Jenny Bond for her work today and her work over the whole week in describing the royal procession. Now, the runners are in the paddock for our first race. It's the King Edward VII Stakes. We've got 10 runners, and they're named for you by our commentator, Jim McGrath.
Number 1 is Central Park, Frankie Dettori. 2, Casino Captive, John Reed. Number 3, Courteous, Pat Edery. 4 is Dancing Phantom, owned in the same interests as Courteous, by Prince Fahd Selman, and carrying a light green jacket, distinguishing light green jacket, Walter Swinburne in the saddle. Number 5 is Fruits of Love, Daryl Holland. 6 is Kilimanjaro, back for a lot of money in the offices this morning, Michael Cannan. 7 is Mutawaj in the second set of Godolphin colours, white distinguishing cap, Richard Hills. 8, Pegnitz, Cash Asmussen. And number 9, Royal Anthem, Kieran Fallon, spoken of as a potential ARC contender. And number 10, Scorned, Simon Whitworth. They're the 10 runners for the King Edward VII. And let's have a look at the betting, particularly Kilimanjaro.
And the opening prices here on the course: Royal Anthem open 2-1 out to 9-4. Kilimanjaro 7-2 out to 4-1 and straight back to 7-2. Courteous easy to back, 6 is out to 7. Dancing Phantom and Central Path both 8-1 from 7-1. Casino Captive on the walk, 9s out to 12s. Very good money for the Yorkshire outsider Fruits of Loves, open 20-1, all raised down to 12-1. Mutawaj is 16 from 14. Scorned is scorned in the betting, 20s from 14. And Pegnitz is 40-1. A late move there for Central Park, 8s into 15-2.
Well, Royal Anthem running in the same colours and the white bridle that Dr. Fong won with on Tuesday, and that means the horse is managed by this man here, Willie Carson. So, Willie, what chance Royal Anthem in the first?
He's got a very good chance indeed. He's only ever run over 1.25 miles before. Today's race is 1.5 miles. That will improve him. He's out of an ACAC mare by Theatrical, so that is staying all the way through. The 1.5 miles is definitely going to increase his chances of beating Kilimanjaro, who is second favourite.
Yeah, they've been backing him. They've been backing Kilimanjaro.
Him, so I don't really know why. Well, Kilimanjaro was his first race at Newmarket, but how they think they can beat us, I don't really know. But there you have. I think this horse, everybody has him to beat.
Well, he's a lovely, big, strapping horse, I think.
He's 17 hands high. He's big. He is a big, tall horse.
To my mind, that's the sort of horse I'd rather have than Dr. Fong, but I'm just very fussy like
Yes,
that.
well, maybe you'll be right, because maybe if he wins today a couple of lengths or 3 lengths, he'll be King George, maybe, or Arc de Triomphe, maybe.
Gosh, if you think he's that good, then he should definitely win today, but let's find out what our Paddock team think. Graham Rock, and good afternoon to Jimmy Lindley.
Hello Claire, many thanks, and we are looking at number 9, one of the market leaders, Royal Anthem, and in fact, well, I think Willie's got a nice horse to manage on his hands here. He's a very big individual by Theatrical. He was a pretty expensive yearling though, he cost $500,000 no less. Well, when you look at him there, you can see exactly why Henry Cecil gave this horse plenty of time to mature. He didn't run as a 2-year-old. He's won both his starts this season over 1.25 miles, so in fact today he's got another 1/4 mile to cover. But I think he's a horse with a good future, this. When he beat Kilimanjaro 2.5 lengths in a course record time at Newmarket. Graham, I thought that was a terrific performance.
It certainly was, Jimmy. It was on fastest ground, though, and I think the reason they're backing Kilimanjaro is that there is a much easier surface today, and that day Kilimanjaro made the running, set up the race. The other horse came behind to beat him, but he has got some scope to improve, and I know they think an awful lot of this one at home. That's number 9, Royal Anthem, the 9-4 favourite at the last show. Just walking quietly there as though nothing wrong in the world, relaxed and calm. And we'll be looking for number 2 now, Casino Captive. Jimmy, he must have a chance.
He is. Looking at him in the paddock, this little grey colt, in fact, there's not a lot of him. He's 12-1 from 10-1. He's, I think, as good as he's ever going to be. He's got a lot of ability. In fact, he's won both of his starts this season, one over 1.25 miles and one over 1.5 miles. But as I say, he's quite a plain colt to look at. He's got a motor, but to look at as a racehorse, just a horse.
Yeah, and he won well at Chester from Dancing Phantom, beat him 2 lengths. They meet on the same terms today. And I'd certainly agree about his look. You're looking at, say, the favourite. Got much more scope to improve. But this horse has done nothing wrong. He's won both his races. Number 2, Casino Captive, trained by Peter Chapelheim, ridden by John Reed, just about to get a leg up there.
Peter Chapelheim just giving John Reed a leg into the saddle. As you see, John Reed really riding in great form once again this season. There's number 1. This is a good-looking colt. He's by In the Wings, who's done so well at stud. Central Park, that is, a chestnut colt. He started life pretty well with Paul Cole, in fact. He won the Champagne Stakes at Goodwood. Now, he had enough speed to handle that very sharp course on that occasion. He disappointed this year a shade in the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, but he then made up for that by winning the Italian Derby by a length, and that day giving Darragh O'Donoghue his biggest success. I should think he was great thrilled that day, Graham. Absolutely tremendous thrill, and of course Darragh had earlier won the Lockinge Stakes on Cape Crest. But this horse, interestingly, because of that win in Italy, now has to concede £6 to his field. But he did well there on fast ground. He hasn't got any form within there's been a real cut, which would be a minor worry again, but they nibbled at him 8-1 from 15-2, and the way the Godolphin horses have run this week, you certainly couldn't rule him out. Number 1 there, Central Park, trained by Saeed bin Sarur for the Godolphin, ridden by Frankie Dettori. Courteous, number 3, running in the colours of Prince Fahd Salman. Pat Edery takes over here from Richard Quinn. Richard Quinn starts the first day. I think it was his 4-day ban. And, well, this could give Pat Edery a good spare ride here, Courteous. I was pretty impressed with him at Sandown when he won the Thrasher Classic Trial. He won that in good form that day, but then he disappointed a Shade Graham in the Epsom Derby.
He didn't handle the track. He negotiated Tattenham Hill with all the grace and of a camel trying to get down a step ladder. He just failed to act completely. He was in a barging match with Cape Verde. It was fastish ground by the time he got to the Derby, and certainly judged on his earlier win on the soft at Sandown, he would have a squeak today, no question about it. Number 3, Courteous, trained by Paul Cole and ridden by Pat Edery. Very latest news of the betting now coming. Royal Anthem out to 5-2 from 2-1. Kilimanjaro 7-2. Courteous 13-2 from 7. Central Park 15-2, having touched 8. Then 8-1 Dancing Phantom. 12 Casino Captive. Fruits of Love, the outsider, backed on the course, 20s into 12s. It's 16 Moutouage, 25-1, scorned there by the betting public. And Pegnitz, having touched 50, nibbled at now 40, now 33-1.
The crowd just leaving the paddock here for this, the first race on the last day of Royal Ascot. And there we have number 6, Kilimanjaro, with Michael Cannan in the saddle. Michael's had a pretty lean Royal Ascot on his standards, but Kilimanjaro could give him a good ride today. He's no stranger to Ascot, in fact, to the Royal Meeting. He ran in the Royal Lodge Stakes here in the autumn of last year, and well, he finished 4th behind Teapot Row. But this season, he's well, perhaps been a little bit. He was 2.5 lengths second behind Royal Anthem in a listed race at Newmarket, which is not bad form. He set the pace, and he kept on well up the hill on that occasion. One thing I think he's going to do today, really, Graham, he's going to stay.
Oh, he's sure going to stay. And I think, I remember last season, he absolutely bolted up on soft ground at Sandown. And I think the ground, a bit of the cut in the ground, could help him perhaps get a little bit closer to Royal Anthem today. And that was the one for money each way this morning at 5-1 into 7-2. And he's owned by partnership, Michael Tabor, Sue Magna and Lord Lloyd Webber. So they'll be hoping for a really big show from this horse. He's got some ability. Just going down there, and the second of those two in the green and white stripes. In front there, Fruits of Love, orange colours, trained in Yorkshire by Mark Johnson, ridden by Darrell Holland. And Fruits of Love finished, he finished well to be 3rd behind Greek Dance and Capri at York, but unfortunately that form's taken a little bit of a knock, because although Greek Dance was injured in the Derby, he didn't show very well. And of course Capri was beaten here early in the week, so not quite the good form we thought it was to begin with, but interesting that there's good money for him.
No, that's right, Graham, but watching him canter down there, it's rather, I bet the owner's rather thrilled really, because at the end of his 2-year-old career he in fact fractured a pelvis on the gallop, so he's got over that pretty well, as you can see there. He's not moving too badly. 12-1 from 14-1, somebody having a little nibble at him by Hansel. And so just turned out 1 or 2 good jumpers, I think.
Absolutely. Now down in the betting room we've got Jonathan Powell. He is talking to Neil Wilkins of the Press Association.
Graham, quite a gamble developing here on Fruits of Love. 20-1 available early, 12-1 and 14-1 have been taken. Neil, so far this week it's hard to say whether the punters or the book is in front.
Honours are even, Jonathan. We've had the demise of Capri and Zuleika, which they really overstood earlier in the week, and then they got those ones right. Then Bintalal, Diktat and Bari particular, those 3 really took fortunes out of the ring, all 3 of them back to win £250,000 in recorded bets alone. So at the moment really honours are even, and everyone's looking forward to what's going to happen today. And finally the sun's come out. As you said, Fruits of Love opened at 20, one bookmaker put up 25, that was immediately taken, and it's been back right down to 12-1 now. An earlier bet struck on the boards, 20 monkeys each way, £500 each way at 20-1 to win £10,000. This has caused Royal Anthem to go from 7-4 out to 5-2, and sure enough the officers have stepped straight in. £25,000 to 10,000 bet struck immediately. Kilimanjaro, that was the first move on the board, 7-2 into 3, that's gone back to 7-2. There's people looking around for 4-1. I understand Kilimanjaro is going to try to make all the running and take the sting out of Royal Anthem's finish, but the race is up for grabs here. But there's some good betting going on here.
Strong betting heat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good betting heat. There's money for other horses. Casino Captive's been in demand as well. Courteous is in demand. Forget its Derby failure, it ran a bigger race today, but I still think probably Royal Anthem might have too much class for these horses.
Thank you.
Right.
Let's have a look at Moutouage, a nice colt by Caerleon. There you can see the royal blue colours, the Godolphin running in the second colours. He's carrying a white cap. He's 16-1 from 14-1 at the moment. Well, these colours, we've had 18 races so far at the Royal Meeting, and these colours have been in front on 9 occasions. When you think they've come here and won half of the races we've seen so far on the 3 days racing at Royal Ascot, that's some feat.
Yes, and this horse has got a little chance. He was beaten by Central Park in the Italian Derby. He began the season by finishing running a good third to Dr. Fong in the listed race at Newmarket, and Dr. Fong won the St James's Palace Stakes here on Tuesday. So although he's got probably 1 or 2 ahead of him, if you're looking at the theoretical chances of this horse, interesting of course earlier in the week that John Reed, wearing the second colours with the white cap, he won on this horse. I certainly wouldn't rule him out, but he has to make up about 1.25 lengths on Central Park on their running in Rome together. Number 4, Dancing Phantom, was beaten by a Casino Captain at Chester and then hacked up in a maiden race at Sandown. Still going the right way, acts well on easy ground, and he would need to improve a fair bit to go well here. Catch up with the very latest prices in the ring, and we can see from the betting that Royal Anthem is now back to 9 to 4 from 5 to 2. Kilimanjaro is 4 to 1 from 7 to 2. Courteous 13 to 2, having it opened at 6. Central Park, having touched 15 to 2 and 8 to 1, is now 7 to 1, and it's 15 to 2 bar. Now let's join Jim McGrath in the grandstand.
Thanks, Graham. Yes, starting to load up for this King Edward VII Stakes, televised live this year for the first time. Usually it's one of our races that's run when we're finished transmission, and the favourite now, Royal Anthem, is 2 to 1 as Curtis goes forward there for Pat Hedry. They're just about ready, under orders, and they're away. And in the early stages, let's see if they head over towards the far side. They're not really in the early stages. Up there is Casino Captive, and also Kilimanjaro, and also there is Fruits of Love. They're all vying for the early lead, and they are getting away from that inside rail as they head down the side. Moutawaj with a white cap, and further back in the field, Courteous. As they settle down, though, it's Kilimanjaro showing out by 2 lengths to Fruit of Love, who's up there with the orange jacket on the inside of Royal Anthem, and out wider then is Dancing Phantom with a light green jacket. Further back is Casino Captive, the grey in the centre, from the white cap of Moutawaj, and then further back is Central Park in the royal blue colours, the first set of Godolphin colours. Courteous behind them in the dark green, followed by Scorned, who's second last, and Pegnitz is last of all as they continue their journey down into Swindley Bottom now. They've got short of 7.5 furlongs to travel, getting away from that inside rail, but actually not heading towards the extreme outside. But it's still Kilimanjaro who shows the way, 2 lengths to Casino Captive. Then up on the outside in third follows Royal Anthem. Then in fourth is Moutawaj with a white cap, and now heading over towards the far rail now, heading under the trees at this part of the course. It's Kilimanjaro in front of Fruits of Love with the orange jacket. Casino Captive up there as well. Then in fourth follows Royal Anthem. Behind them is Courteous, who's made ground from Moutawaj. They're followed by Central Park. Dancing Phantom's just been shuffled back a couple of places, 2 lengths to Scorn, and Pegnitz is out the back. Running up the side of the course now and nearing the half mile. The leader is Kilimanjaro out in front from Fruits of Love giving chase. Then Royal Anthem, the green cap on the outside. On the inner, starting to cut the corner already is Courteous as they cross over to the inside rail. Oh, there's a bit of bumping there. Fruits of Love in a lot of trouble on the inside as Courteous is on the inner as they round the corner now, and the leader is Kilimanjaro from Royal Anthem, the favourite, drawing alongside. 2 lengths away then under the whip is Courteous from Casino Captive. Wider out then is Central Park, called on for an effort from Dancing Phantom. Into the straight inside the 2. The favourite Royal Anthem now takes it up from Kilimanjaro. Royal Anthem's gone 2 in front of Kilimanjaro, 3 or 4 lengths away Scorned, followed further back by Central Park, Courteous and Dancing Phantom. Inside the final furlong, he's riding hard on Royal Anthem. He's still getting a response. He's 4 in front of Kilimanjaro, starting to stop a little bit towards the line, but this has been a pretty good performance. Royal Anthem goes on to win the Edward VII by 2 or 3 lengths. Kilimanjaro is second, third Scorn, fourth then Central Park, followed by Moutawaj, then Courteous, Dancing Phantom, Casino Captive behind them from Pegnitz, and Fruits of Love, who was in that scrimmage near the turn, is last to finish. The winner is number 9, Royal Anthem. Bay colt by Theatrical out of Indion, trained by the Thoroughbred, I should say trained by Henry Cecil for the Thoroughbred Corporation, and ridden by Kieran Fallon. 62 winners for the season for Kieran Fallon, and number 43 for Henry Cecil. Second is number 6, Kilimanjaro, owned by Michael Tabor, Sue Magnier and Lord Lloyd Webber, trained by Sir Michael Stout and ridden by Mick Cannan. And third, number 10, Scorned, owned by George Strawbridge, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Simon Whitworth. Fourth was Central Park, but there was a real scrimmage coming to the turn. Let's have another look at that now as they round the corner with Claire Balding and Willie Carson.
And a steward's inquiry is just being announced. I should think it's for this bit of interference as the runners cross from under the trees to come across to the far rail. They're trying to come the shortest way, and Willie, Fruits of Love in the orange colours in the middle of these three is the one that gets interfered with.
Yes, well, this is always going to happen when they're going to come across. Everybody knows what's going to happen. They should have got themselves sorted out, or the inside horses should have kicked up. Mick Cannan, you know, he maybe should have just looked round and make sure he wasn't going to interfere with anybody.
I think it was
nothing to do with Royal Anthem. He is clear.
No, it won't affect the winner. I think actually it was more courteous going for the rail. I thought slightly Darrell Holland overreacted. That was my first impression.
He did. Well, he could see what was going to happen, and he didn't want it to happen, so he took a pull out, wanted to get out. But this is not a sort of bad sort of a horse, Claire, is he?
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got a very good horse on your hands. They come inside the final 2 furlongs now. Early on, the pace had been made by Kilimanjaro, who's staying on in second place. Fruits of Love had been very keen early on, and after that interference dropped away totally. Scorned was slowly away, but stays on for third. He's run a very good race. And Royal Anthem actually was a little bit keen early on.
Yes, I was a little bit worried because he was drawn one, he went down the far side, and he was in a little bit of daylight, and I think he was pulling, so he's learnt a bit from Newmarket, and he was just tugging Kieran along and just using himself up. But when he came to the straight, I thought, is he going to sort of quicken up a bit? Because I know he hasn't got a lot of speed. He's got a lovely long action, and that action takes him along, keeps going. He's a real good galloper.
Let's just enjoy this reception.
Official distances 2 lengths, 2.5 lengths, and a 9-4 favourite. This winner, Royal Anthem, coming back for the Thoroughbred Corporation. The time 2:34.53. And the SPs on the first race as follows.
The winner, number 9, Royal Anthem, returned the 9-4 favourite, having touched 5-2 and 2-1. Second, number 6, Kilimanjaro at 7-2, and third, number 10, Scorned at 20-1. All 10 round, but there is a steward's inquiry.
Well, Royal Anthem, well out of all the trouble that happened, but let's just have another look at it again, Willie. Kilimanjaro on the right, Curtis on the left, Fruits of Love in between.
Well, Curtis there, he's got the inside splot, and Darrow cannot go over anymore, and he can see that Mick Cannan is going to come over, and he thinks, oh, I don't want to be in his heels, and he takes a tug. I think he just slightly overreacted a bit, but he definitely got interfered with, but it was slightly overreaction.
It does tend to happen as the jockeys make that turn. Jim McGrath had the best view of it up in the commentary box. Jim, what did you think?
Well, I thought Mick Cannan actually left plenty of room there. I think Pat Edry was entitled to hold his ground, and it might have been a little bit of overreaction from Darrell Holland there on Fruits of Love. But that's just the way I saw it. As you can see there, it hasn't affected the winner at all. Absolutely no effect on him, and Kilimanjaro second.
I think Willie and I agree with you there, Jim. That it would be...
kissing these horses. I hope he'll be kissing them for the remainder of the year.
And he went and watched France-Saudi Arabia last night, didn't he?
He went and saw them, yes, got beat 4-0.
Well, let's go now to the winning trainer, one of the most successful trainers at Royal Ascot, Henry Cecil. Jonathan.
Well, with me, Henry Cecil. Service much as usual for you, and my goodness, this is an imposing horse with an exciting future.
Well, he is, because I mean, last year he was very backward. I couldn't really train him, and he just, since Newbury a month and a half ago, he's sort of come on. Great track record, Newmarket, over too short a distance, and he's by theatrical half-brother Sharp Cat, who won the Breeders' Cup, and I think he's got tremendous potential, and sort of give him a little bit of a rest now, give him a chance, because he's about 17 hands, and I'd like to think, you know, I talked to the owner, and I'd like to think of the something like the King George and Queen Elizabeth.
It really could be as good as that.
Well, hopefully, you know, we've got to look forward, not backwards.
Absolutely. What was he like as a 2-year-old? You say he's a very big horse. Could you not train him seriously because of that?
No. I mean, he's going to be even better next year, but as long as everything goes right. But he's a lovely horse.
Did he come to you as a yearling?
As a yearling, yes.
And when did you see the signs of what we're now all enjoying today?
Well, really, sort of in sort of April, May, he started to show me a little bit. But I hadn't really asked him anything before that.
Now he's beginning to look as though he's your best 3-year-old colt, but of course he was backward, he was too late, he didn't come in time for the Derby, but maybe next year he could be even better.
He could be, could be.
Well, it's the second winner you've had in these colours this week. Dr. Fong really had to work very hard to win on Tuesday.
It's just slightly short for him, but he ran a great race considering it.
He's a very genuine horse, but he gets very warm before his races.
Well, he's always done that at home, that's just him, it's not like us. I get a bit sort of hot.
Well, you trained whatever it is, 60+ winners here, does it still get to you?
Certainly does.
Well, you want to rush off now and sell another one,
Another
memorise another winner?
Another run anyway.
Well done, thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Kieran Fallon as he weighs out there his second winner of the meeting. Not quite enough, he won't be catching Frankie, and there is Frankie weighing in as well. He was on Central Park, who finished 4th in the end. And congratulations to the manager, and you tipped him on first show this morning.
I did. I said I've got to get him to... I knew about him, I'm going to get me out of trouble, because I've been telling the viewers they're wrong. Now there's the stewards room, Pat Edry, Darrell Hall in the middle and Mick Canaan on the outside. Now they're talking the stewards there, he's introducing the stewards, and now we're going to go over there and we'll watch the replay of the race. Now they're all going to... There you go. They're all going to watch it.
And this is what they're actually looking at the moment, the incident that we were discussing. It's quite hard from that angle to know whether Kilimanjaro was clear, but as Jim McGrath was saying in the stands, and he had a very good view of it through his binoculars, in his opinion, Kilimanjaro was clear, and possibly Darrell Holland not as badly interfered with as his snatching up made it look, but he will put his case to the stewards, won't he? And the stewards are... Tim Holloman, you were just going to point out the stewards.
But I don't think Struthers on today. I should have...
Sandy Struthers.
Sandy Struthers. I don't know who the actual stewards were.
Well, we'll send you off to check it in a moment, don't worry though. Kieran Fallon, as we said, getting it right there on Royal Anthem, Willie's horse. And here are 5 things you didn't know about him. Kieran Fallon, a perfect example that if you don't start riding young, you can still become a jockey. As it said, he didn't sit on a horse till he was 18, or a racehorse anyway.
There you go, you know, he's did it the hard way.
He practiced on a Connemara pony, but he certainly got it right. Now, it's been a wonderful week of action here so far at Royal Ascot, and we've had not record crowds because they have reduced the attendances, but still a very healthy attendance here of people enjoying the racing and enjoying the weather and showing off in their very finest. And full credit to the full Ascot team. Oh, absolutely. This necklace here, actually, I had a query about this from a fax saying, was this the one? Was this necklace the one that we featured on the piece we did about jewellery that was worth so much money at Aspreys? And indeed it was, and I'll have a bodyguard. Willie's going to be my bodyguard a bit later on. It is lovely, actually. It's topaz and diamond.
You're worth having now, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you can't have me, so go away. But it is worth an awful lot of money. I'd hate to say how much. But the crowd's now going down to the pre-parade ring and the paddock to try and have a look at the runners for the very next race, which is the Hardwicke Stakes. It's going to be a good race as well. We've got Swain, the horse we're all looking forward to seeing.
He's a great horse, isn't he?
And he might just be Frankie Dettori's 7th winner of the meeting, who knows, but he certainly didn't quite get it right in the first, but then he didn't have as much of a chance as Royal Anthem.
He's up against the horse, wasn't he?
You can make it look easy.
He might be
when
the next Swain, this fella.
Well, he might be, and Henry, they're agreeing with you that you might go for the King George next.
We'll see how he comes out the race.
Very,
there you are, you'll hear it first here.
Well, I don't think we will, actually, because I'm sure you won't make up your mind. We might hear it tomorrow. You might have made a decision
right, okay.
tomorrow. You never know. Anyway, truly magnificent weather outside, and people really enjoying it and enjoying the horses. And I think full credit to the Ascot Authority, as we said, who run the racecourse here. And the Queen Mother at the moment making her way down to the pre-parade ring to have a look at Swain and the rest. And as you can see, the buggy, as we were seeing yesterday and saying yesterday, decorated in her own colours. You've got the black top, which represents her black cap, and the blue and buff at the bottom. It really is it's a very great buggy. It is. I think they've shown their sense of humour there in decking it out in those colours. It looks absolutely magnificent. And Lady Angela Ogilvy there in the green, her lady-in-waiting, and the Queen Mother with her chauffeur. A very upright gentleman, yes, taking her down to the pre-parade.
He looks like a fellow out of Thunderbirds, doesn't he?
He's Willie, don't say things like that. Anyway, I think, as I was saying, full credit to the full Ascot team. And earlier on, I spoke to the racecourse director, Douglas Erskine-Crumb, who was a very satisfied man. Well, the chief executive of Ascot Racecourse has joined me now. Douglas, how's the meeting gone so far?
Well, it's been a fabulous week. It's very important to remember while the eyes of the nation are across the water in France, we've had the very best racing in the world here.
And the weather finally today has brightened up for us.
I know, on the Wednesday and Thursday the weather was not too good, but it's a wonderful day tomorrow, and it's going to today, and it's going to continue tomorrow as well.
Now, you deliberately cut down crowds this year, so obviously numbers not as big.
Well, that's right. We really want to concentrate on looking after the racegoers who come. We could sell Royal Ascot over and over again, but last year on the Thursday and Friday it was very wet and it got a little bit overcrowded, so we decided this year to reduce our capacities, and it's been a great success.
Now, next month you're going to have a rather different crowd here at Ascot because you're having something of a music festival, aren't you?
That's right. It's all part of our policy of opening up Ascot Racecourse and using the facilities much more, and we've got 4 wonderful days of music in early July.
What sort of music are we talking about?
Well, we've got Leslie Garrett and the Royal Philharmonic on Sunday the 5th of July. We've got Jules Holland, Cleo Lane, Johnny Dankworth, Humphrey Littleton, George Melly, and then we finish up on Saturday 11th of July with Gloria Gaynor.
Oh, fantastic.
So it'll be marvellous, and anyone can ring up and Ascot Racecourse and find out details.
A bit of I Will Survive. It was perfect for the racecourse, eh?
Brilliant. It's 3rd year we've done it, and it's such beautiful surroundings that it's a great success, and people bring picnics or eat here, and it starts about 6, finishes at 10 with a huge fireworks display.
Well, I think most people would agree that this year's Royal Ascot, in terms of racing, has been quite superb, and I think also people just enjoying the whole thing a bit more, understanding more about it.
Well, it's a totally unique atmosphere. There's nothing like it in the world, and it's got a very special place in people's hearts in Britain, as is shown by the huge attendances and the huge television audiences. And it's immensely successful and totally unique because of the royal procession and the royal connection. And we're so lucky that the Queen takes such personal interest and of course is a very, very knowledgeable on racing. And then the fashions, singing around the bandstand, the grandstand at the end of the day, and of course the best racing in the world.
And you, for the first time this year, you've had a Royal Ascot club, haven't you?
We've opened up a Royal Ascot Racing Club, and we've got 6 horses, 6 2-year-olds, none of which are running this year's Royal Meeting, but we're very excited about them, and we give our members very special facilities, including a club room which has to be the most luxurious club room anywhere in the world on a racecourse.
I must point out that they do pay a fair amount of money for this.
They do pay a fair amount of money, yes. And it's all part of our drive to look after everybody, because we've also, across the racecourse, done much more and improved our performance, for example, in the Silver Ring by providing many more facilities, and in the grandstand, and in the Heath enclosure, which is only £2, where we had 7,000 or 8,000 people yesterday, for example, and which is the only place, apart from the Royal Enclosure, where you can actually sit on the winning post and watch Frankie Dettori winning all his races.
Certainly well worth it. Certainly well worth it. Well, Douglas, thank you very much. I think it's been a tremendous success this year. Thanks.
Thank you.
Douglas Erskine-Crumb talking to me a little bit earlier on, and there is the Queen in the paddock looking at the runners for the Hardwicke Stakes. There are 7 of them, including, as we said, Swain, but Germano being backed to try and beat the King George winner. We can just confirm the result of our first race, the King Edward VII Stakes. The placings remain unaltered after the steward's inquiry. Royal Anthem winning by 2 lengths. The 9-4 favourite Kilimanjaro 7-2. Scorned was 3rd at 20-1, and the time 2 minutes 34.53, which is on the slow side. Well, the Queen Mother is also making her way down to the paddock. to have a look at these runners. But before we do the same, let's join Jonathan Powell, because of course we are later sharing with the cricket. It's the second test at Lord's, and I think he's talking to a former cricketing star. Jonathan.
Yes, Claire, speed has always played a vital part in the life of David Brown. He played 28 or 29 times for England as a very, very effective fast bowler, and now he's breeding horses, some of them pretty fast, including Bolshoi, who runs in the King's Stand at 420. David, welcome to Ascot. How on earth did you manage to mix the two sports?
It was matrimony, actually. My wife and I met in the West Indies when I was playing cricket out there on an England tour, and she had a jockey's licence out there, and it was an amalgamation of interests. I was always mad keen on racing. She'd had horses all her life, and so through that we decided that we'd try and breed a few horses. I went out after my benefit year and bought the first brood mare, which was probably quite a disaster. She was a crib biter and all the rest of it, but Trish actually took it in her stride, and we managed to breed a couple of winners out of her, which Reg Hollins had trained, and then the whole thing escalated from there.
And is Bolshoi the best you've bred?
Yes, he is. Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, with the family have been quite good. There's been Great Chaddington, Todd, all with Jack Berry, and they've all been group placed, and they've all been good horses. You know, time from 100 plus. Bolshoi is the best. Yeah.
Today you seem to be drawn on the bad side, away on the far side, and arguably the ground's too soft. So how hopeful are you?
Well, you're always hopeful if you come here. It is a bad draw, or appears to be a bad draw. You never quite know. He drops out, he might get a chance to track across. The ground, we'd like it faster, but probably quite a lot of others would like it faster. And unfortunately, there's been a slight hiccup. He hasn't got his blinkers on, but there you go. You know, that's racing. I mean, it happens, and you have to make the best of it. And we hope he'll run really well. Yeah, he's exceptionally well. He's really fit.
David, a lot of your cricketing pals, then and now, are big punters. I can think of some great West Indian stars and Keith Miller, who love nothing better than to have a punt at Royal Ascot. Are they all on this horse to a man today?
I would rather doubt it. They're sceptical that I could ever have a winner, actually, but they were big punters, yeah. I remember Wes Hall and Gary and all the West Indian guys, whenever they came to a county ground, their first request was, we're the nearest bookie. Can you fix us up with an account while we're here? And so they were big players, yeah.
And what about today for you? You've been at the pinnacle as a test player, and now here you are. This is the best meeting of the year on the flat. You've got a serious runner with a serious chance. Are you quite nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous, yeah. I think, unless you're nervous in any sport, I don't think the adrenaline peaks, and I think unless you do that, you know, you perhaps are a little bit bland about the job. And I'm exceptionally nervous. Yeah, my wife last night said she slept the best she slept for 3 weeks. I certainly was awake most of the night, wondering whether the blinkers would affect him or the draw would affect him. So, yeah, we're nervous, that's for sure.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing him run. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. No, we've got to do it quick. And we have just heard from the stewards after that interference in the King Edward VII Stakes that Michael Kinnan, the rider of Kilimanjaro, has picked up a 4-day suspension. You can see there the jockeys leaving the stewards' room. And Michael Kinnan actually not looking very happy about it. That will start on Sunday week. It means he misses the Irish Derby. And Willie, the stewards considered that the interference he caused...
It was more than minor.
It was more than minor, if you know what I mean.
So that's why he didn't get 2 days, he got 4 days.
He hadn't left room for 2 horses to come up his inside, which he should have done.
And he should have done.
Anyway, it didn't improve his placing. That's why the placings remained unaltered.
Obviously, he only thought there was 1 horse there, and he left room for 1 horse, but there was 2 horses there, and that's why he's ended up in trouble.
And we can have another look at it again. As you can see, he has, as Willie says, left room for 1, but not for 2 horses. And he's just allowed his horse, Kilimanjaro, to drift over to the rails. It wasn't intentional, but it was more than minor interference for the damage that it caused to Fruits of Love, who then ran no sort of a race at all. Well, our next race is the Hardwicke Stakes. 7 runners go to post. They're named for you by Jim McGrath.
Number 1 is Swain, Frankie Dettori. Swain, the winner of the King George here, of course, over course and distance in soft ground. Frankie Dettori in the saddle. Number 2 is Germano, Michael Roberts. 3 is Memorize, Kieran Fallon. 4 Poseidon, Jimmy Fortune. Number 5 is Posidonis, Pat Edry. 6 Stage of Fair, Michael Kinnan, who'll be devastated by that rather harsh steward's decision, the 4-day suspension. And number 7, The Fly, Michael Hills. All 7 to go in the Hardwicke Stakes, a mile and a half. Let's check the betting.
And no surprises. Swain is the favourite. Touched 11 to 10 here on the course. Now back to even money. It's 5 to 1 Stage of Fair, 13 to 2 The Fly from 6s, then 7 Posidonis, 15 to 2 Germano, having touched 8 to 1, 10s this morning, 14 to 1 Memorize, and the outside of Poseidon, 33 to 1.
Well, a lovely sunny day here. Big crowd once again turned out at the Royal Meeting, and there, deep in discussion, in fact, is the Queen Mother and also Her Majesty the Queen. And, well, don't they look really radiant in the sunshine?
Well, Swain is the horse in this race that is the real battler, and he has proved that over the last 2 seasons. He was second in the Coronation Cup to Silver Patriarch at Epsom. This course might just suit him slightly better than that. And he was also second in the Dubai World Cup to Silver Charm, the best horse in America. That was no disgrace.
It's a great horse in America. It was only 1.25 miles as well, and it was on the dirt. He's a lovely type of horse. He's by Nashwan, which gives me pleasure. And he is possibly one of the best horses in training in this country.
And he certainly proved that when he won last year's King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes here at Ascot in the mud, beating Pilsudski. And Pilsudski was one of the best horses around.
Well, he was a great horse too, wasn't he, Pilsudski? He went on and won millions. He was a great horse. This was the day that he really proved himself, when John Reid rode him on this sort of grueling, it was a grueling race this day, because the ground became very sort of tiring. We had a lot of rain the night before, and there you can see his determination to keep going. Well, Pilsudski actually, he hadn't had that many races that up to before he hadn't had a lot of racing, and he just got tired in this ground.
Well, Posidonus is one of the horses who could just beat him, and he has actually done that in the past, but only by 2 short heads, and that was at Newbury. And we saw Posidonus at Newbury earlier on this evening, this season, and that was when he won on heavy ground in the John Porter Stakes, and that was the Fly was also in this race. There is Posidonus, and Richard Quinn is suspended today, so Pat Eddery taking over on him in the colours of Athos Christodoulou. And here we can see the John Porter at Newbury. Very testing conditions this day.
Yes, well, they had crossed across to the stand side to get the better ground here, because it was very, very slow ground. And then again, he's just powered his way up there, and he's really sort of dug in deep, because this is another race that was a grueling type race, and horses were running around, and they had to be brave, and Richard Quinn here, he doesn't use his whip. He keeps punching away, keeps a hold over the horse's head, because if he picks his whip up, he's going to lose half a length.
And the Fly on the right there, the grey horse, Sacho actually went to go and win his race here, and then just slightly pulled up in front. The Fly, who runs again today, the grey horse on the right-hand side, and in the end, it was only 2 short heads, I think.
The Fly that day was always going the best, but when he was let down, he couldn't find it on that soft ground. Possibly the ground today will be more to his liking.
Well, let's find out what our paddock team think about these 7 runners. We've got Graham Rock and Jimmy Lindley, as the Queen looks as if she's making her way out of the paddock now, but we will hand over to our paddock team.
Well, she's had a very good look at all of the 7 runners, and a smile on her face. As you can see her, she leaves the paddock and down that walk where the crowd love to see her, because they're very close, and they can really get a good look at our sock. Applause begin to come from the crowd. Well wishes. Always, as Claire and Jenny were pointing out, she always wears at the races some really lovely jewellery. You can see a very attractive brooch on her left shoulder, clutching her race card in her right hand. A very knowledgeable lady on bloodstock, and has bred her horses for many a year now. I'd love to see her come up with a really good colt, since Oriole, that great horse Oriole that won the King George and Queen Elizabeth here and was runner-up in the Derby, she seems to have much better fillies, much better female line than male. Well, there he is, Swain, and he looked like a newly minted coin walking round the paddock. And he's rather an interesting horse to watch in his action, because although he's got a lovely light action, we'll see him in a moment when he gets onto the course. He's got a lovely light action, but when he's really galloping, he lengthens that stride. But he never uses any excess energy. He's always travelling well within himself. I would think he's the most lovely ride. He gets his head down. Look at that strength there. You can see Frankie Dettori just giving him a nice piece of rein. And as I was saying, the energy he successes. You can see there as Frankie lets him go that little bit faster, how gradually that stride lengthens. And in a race, when he asks him to go, it nearly doubles his stride in length. Evans favourite from 11 to 10. Willie pointed out what I thought was a very interesting fact, that this horse, the first time he ever raced on dirt, took on perhaps the greatest horse that we've seen for a long time on dirt and run him to a short head. That was Silver Charm in the Dubai Champion Stakes, which was worth nearly $1.5 million to the winner. That was a terrific performance, I thought, Graham.
It was indeed. I mean, one of the reasons I think Swain got so close to that world-class horse was the pace. They went off at a real cracking American pace early, and that's what he needs to show his best form. That's what he had in the King George last year. Over 1.5 miles here, and I think if there is a worry today, it's we're looking for a horse to give him a decent test of stamina, you know, because he certainly does quicken up at the end, and he was I don't know, he hit the front on the bridle in the Coronation Cup, just run out of it close home by Silver Patriarch, didn't really have time to strike back. But if they do go a gallop, then this horse is, despite conceding weight all round, he was the one they've got to beat.
You can see what I mean about his stride there. He's really you wouldn't think he's putting any energy in it at all. It's a lovely horse by Nashwan. In his career, he's won 6 out of 16 races, and he's won over $1.5 million in win and place. And there is the Queen Mother in her buggy leaving the parade ring. And I was here for the last race, the Besborough Stakes, and I couldn't believe it. We were walking out and the rain was beginning to fall. The very last race, and she walked very nearly the length of the paddock before she got into this little buggy. And that, when you think 6 races, all that time here, well, I wish we could breed stamina into some of our thoroughbreds like Her Majesty the Queen Mother possesses. There are a view of the royal enclosure, the holy ground, and we're down at the start now, the 1.5 mile start. Let's have a look at some of the other runners.
Number 2, Germano, that was the one for money this morning, 10 to 1 into 8 to 1, and now 7 to 1, or 15 to 2 rather, here on the course. He won the Gordon Richards Stakes at Sandown in good style, very, very soft ground, and then he was 3rd of 9 to Insatiable in the Brigadier Gerard Stakes, the same course and distance. And you have to say, I think that Insatiable was a shade disappointing next time. We've got very latest news of the betting down in the ring. Let's join Jonathan Powell and Neil Wilkins.
Yes, Frankie Dettori and Godolphin rampant this week, and their representative here, Swain, is a red-hot favourite for the Hardwicke Stakes. Neil.
Yeah, bookmakers put Swain in at 5 to 4 on, and anxious to recover the losses from the first race, where Royal Anthem took nearly £200,000 out of the ring, Jonathan. It's the 4th day running. The favourites won the first race to the cost of the bookies. Very expensive, the first race has been for them. So they're gambling to recover their losses. Immediately went evens. A couple of them went 11 to 10 against. The offices weren't having any of that. They've stepped in. They've shored it up with bets. I've got bets of even 10,000 3 times, even 5,000, even 4,000, even 2,000, at least 3 times, just in the area of the ring I'm working in. Swain looks sure to go off odds on. And against that, the fly's easy, 6 out to 6.5. Stage Affair's gone from 9 to 2 out to 6. Poseidonis from 6 to 7, and Germano from 7 out to 9 in places. They've got 1 horse books here, so they're working against a stable in form and a jockey in blind in form. I mean, the omens aren't good for them, Jonathan.
Let's have a look at number 7, the Fly. A very neat horse this. I loved him actually. He's not as big as some of the others, but he's perfectly balanced. 15 to 2 from 7 to 1, running in the colours of Mrs. J. Corbett, who loves greys, and she's owned many a good horse, but I would say 99% of them have been greys, Graham.
Yes, and the Fly, as you can see from those figures, he's finished 3rd in his last 5 races, including the St. Leger last year. He actually won at Doncaster on his reappearance and was demoted to 3rd by the stewards. He usually is held up by Michael Hills. He's got a decent turn of foot, this horse, but as we saw in the John Porter Stakes, he didn't quite get home of that strongly run mile 5 or at Newbury, so he's got a little bit to do today. Number 7, the Fly.
Let's have a look now at number 5, Poseidonis. He's one of my favourite horses. He never knows when to quit. He won the John Porter Stakes at Newbury in April. The ground was diabolical on that occasion. He had the Fly behind him in 3rd place. I don't think he handled Epsom when he was 6 of 7 behind Silver Patriarch in the Coronation. Lovely big horse. He's going to appreciate Ascot and the ground here today.
Yes, he was well behind Swain that day at Epsom, and I think there's no good reason why he should turn the tables today. And we're looking for number 6 now. That's Stage Affair, the Irish challenger, trained by Dermot Weld. And there he is, just going right through the picture, ridden by Michael Kinnan. And this horse was 2nd last time to Delamy in the Tattersall's Gold Cup. But Delamy, I think you'll agree with me, it's just a shade disappointing in the Prince of Wales here on Tuesday. Just when he wanted to go, he couldn't do, and so that was pretty good form. Stage affair, and Michael Kinnan, I agree with Jim McGrath, very, very harsh to get 4 days for that infringement in the previous race.
Agree with that, Graham. And he's getting a little bit warm, actually, stage affair. Michael Kinnan just trying to soothe him down there. The handler's doing a great job too, but as you see there, he's getting worked up. Dermot Weld trains this colt, this theatrical colt in Ireland. But, well, I'd be a little bit worried, Graham, I think, if I was aboard him there. I see he's got gloves on, so he must have sweat up quite a lot before he's tumbled him. They wear gloves to stop the reins from slipping.
Let's just have a quick show of betting before we join Jim McGrath in the stern stand. 6-5 on now, Swain. Then 6-1 Stage Affair, 15-2 The Fly, cut from 7, 15-2 Positiveness from 7-1, 9-1, bar those 4. Let's join Jim McGrath.
Thanks, Graham. Memorize goes in. That's it. Under orders and away for the Hardwicke. Again heading towards that far side rail, and on settling down it's Frankie Dettori who goes on Swain, but being joined on the outside by Mick Kinnan on Stage Affair. It's Stage Affair who takes it up from Poseidonis in second, then Swain settling third. The pace is generous in the early stages. Further back is Germano, inclined to pull on the outside from Memorize, and further back Poseidon in the star jacket, and they were followed then by the Fly, who's back towards the rear of the field, very tightly grouped as they head down past the mile. The leader here, Stage Affair, going pretty fast. 3 parts of a length to Poseidon. A length further back then, I should say, Poseidonis. A length away then is Germano pulling hard out wide. Memorize starting to boot up in the centre. Followed further back then by Frankie Dettori in the royal blue colours of Godolphin on Swain. They were followed further back in the field then by the Fly, who's racing on the inside of Poseidon as they hug that rail coming around the turn there, out of Swindley Bottom this time. The leader here is Poseidonis, just from Memorize. A length and a half further back to Stage Affair, who's dropped back to third now, still in a lather of sweat. Then follows Swain, who's been beautifully positioned throughout as they head out towards the outside rail now under the trees. Then Germano, followed by the Fly, and further back Poseidon as they pass the 6. Still the leader is Poseidonis by a length to Memorize, just getting a little bit of a squeeze there on the far rail. Joined by Swain, they're vying for second spot. A length and a half further back then is Germano, still inclined to pull. Followed then by the Fly, who's starting to move up. Stage Affair has run his race, dropped back to second last, and last of all then is Poseidon as they race up now towards the half mile. They're going to cut the corner again here, and the leader here is Poseidonis, joined now by the favourite Swain, who's holding the inside rail as they come now around the turn. Then Memorize the outside, Germano in behind them, the Fly up against the rail. 4 lengths to Stage Affair, has dropped out from Poseidon. They round the turn now, 2.5 furlongs to travel. Swain has set sail for the judge, about a neck in front of Poseidonis. Then on the outside, Germano in third, followed by Memorize. The Fly is under the whip. A long gap then to Poseidon. Inside the final 2 though, Swain on the far side is just the leader. He's finding it hard to shake them off. In fact, they come into him quickly. On the outside, Poseidonis moves up, put his neck in front, but here's Germano on the near side. Germano and Poseidonis. Swain is fighting back, but it's Poseidonis in the centre just from Germano. Poseidonis putting his neck out. By golly, this is a courageous win. Poseidonis wins to Hardwicke. In second is Germano, third Swain, followed then by Stage Affair, Memorize, then Poseidon, and the Fly last to finish. He just refused to be beaten, that horse. Number 5, Poseidonis, owned by Athos Christodoulou, trained by Paul Cole and ridden today by Pat Edery, has held off Germano on the near side. And in third, Swain, who went to the front on the home turn, and they were a long way ahead of the others. So the winner is number 4, I should say number 5. Number 5, Poseidonis, ridden by Pat Edery at his most vigorous best, his 34th winner of the season. Second is number 2, Germano, owned by Baron von Ullmann, trained by Jeff Ragg, ridden by Michael Roberts. And third, number 1, Swain, owned by Godolphin, trained by Syed Binsra, ridden by Frankie Dettori. Fourth, Stage Affair, who dropped out and then ran on again. But this horse, Poseidonis, always handily placed, and he has put up one of the most courageous displays you've seen for a long time.
the 2 times that he's met Swain before in the last 8 months, Swain has beaten him. In the Coronation Cup, Swain finished 2nd and Posidonis finished 6th. And also in the Arc de Triomphe last year, Swain finished 7th and Posidonis finished 9th. So he's turned that form around. You cannot fault him for bravery. Frankie Dettori going to the front plenty early enough on Swain. There'd been very little pace early on. A lot of these horses had been keen. And Pat Eddery taking over from Richard Quinn on Posidonis and riding Willie, one of his driving finishes.
It's a famous race by Pat there. He's very strong in the finish. And of course, Swain, he needs a pacemaker. I'm sure they'll find one for him now because the race was run too slow for him. So stamina didn't come into it. And Pat Eddery there, he got fed up hanging on to his horse and he went to the front, right down at Swinley Bottom. And Germano was always travelling well into the straight, pulling very hard and just couldn't get them back at the finish.
Germano has run a very, very good race in second, but I think Paul Cole will be absolutely thrilled with Posidonis. 6 years old now and a real grand old campaigner.
But the story of the race was there was no pace.
Well, I'm sure we'll have another look at it a little later on, but for the moment, Jim, you're looking at events in the winner's enclosure.
Well, the winner scored by half a length officially, with 1.5 lengths between second and third. And the time was 2:34.79. 2:34.79. And there's Posidonis in the centre. On the near side, Germano. And on the far side, Swain, who was, with Frankie doing the right thing, setting out for home fairly early. But he was being worn down in the final stages. Posidonis, though, the winner, ridden by Pat Eddery, trained by Paul Cole, and owned by Athos Christodoulou, who's had some very good horses over the years. A lovely head. Well, let's just check the SPs on the Hardwicke Stakes.
The winner, number 5, Posidonis, returned at 15-2. Second, number 2, Germano at 8-1. And third, number 1, Swain, the 6-5 on favourite. A great result for the bookmakers there. The total returns win £8, places 230 and 380. Only 2 places for each way backers with that 7 runners. And the dual forecast, 38-30. And the straight forecast, £54, 56 pence, all 7 ran.
Well, the winning trainer, Paul Cole, is with Jonathan Powell right now.
Paul, you seem to have a wonderful knack of producing your horses to win at Royal Ascot, rather like Henry Cecil. That's your 2nd winner of the week, and you won't have trained many tougher horses than this one, Posidonis.
No, he's one of those horses that trainers really like to train. He's sound and he's genuine, and he really loves the scrap. You know, when you get into a scrap with him, he's quite difficult to beat.
Today everybody was making Swain a good thing and he's heavily backed in the ring, but your horse has beaten him before and he's done it again here.
Yeah, well, Swain's a brilliant horse, but every horse has its own conditions, and these conditions suited us today. And you know, that sort of ground is his ground, and you know, when he gets into a battle, he's difficult to beat.
This old horse is 6 now, which is quite old for a full horse. You seem to have the ability to keep these old horses going year after year. You've had 3 equine millionaires. He's got a long way to go to reach £1 million, but how do you keep them so sweet?
Well, I seem to do quite well with the 2-year-olds, and then the 2 or 3 years goes missing, and then we come back with them about 5 or 6 later on. I don't know, it's the horses really. I've been lucky to have the horses.
He went to Hong Kong in the winter, didn't he, and very nearly picked up a big prize.
Yeah, he was a little bit off colour last year generally. Some of my horses weren't quite right, and you know, this year he's absolutely spot on. You know, his coach shining, he's well in himself, so you know, it's all gone well for us really.
Well, that's the Hardwicke in the bag. Are you going to go up in class now and perhaps go for the King George with him?
Well, yes, you know, he has big entries, but you know, during the summer when he gets a bit firm, it's not ideal for him.
So you'll sort of keep your powder dry, and perhaps would he end up in the Arc at the end of the season?
Well, yeah, I had a crack at the Arc last year. Mr. Christodoulou, he likes to have a crack at the decent races, so we'll all go along with him.
You certainly cracked it today.
Thank you.
Well, let's have a look back. As they came under the trees, Willie, you were saying the pace is the all-important thing in this race, and they hadn't gone fast enough early on.
They were all pulling going on to Swinley. Look at Mace Roberts behind there. He's pulling a tug there, you know, he's going really too strong. And Paddock, who got fed up of holding his horse, made the running. And you've only got sort of one horse being pushed, which is Keelan Fallon, and the pink cap. The fly, he's got a bit tight on the inside there. Now the race is on. Frankie Dettori as well, he knows that he has to go early now because the pace has been so slow. So Frankie goes very, very early, thinking to make sure that the stamina comes out. And of course he's done the right thing by going on very, very early. But of course he gets worn out of it. Park comes back again, and there is Mace Roberts on the outside. His horse is starting to finish. He has quickened up, but not quickened up well enough. Now it's down to strength, you know. Look at Posino's Domus with his tongue hanging out there. And Paddock driving for all he's worth in his own style. Very, very strong fella to get by, he is.
But most form students will be very confused over that because the last time they
10 lengths behind.
10 lengths, Swain, yeah, at Epsom.
Posidormus possibly doesn't like going down hills at Epsom, but it is 10 lengths, which is a long way.
But as Paul Cole pointed out, he had beaten him on a relatively flat track before at Newbury in the Arc Trial. That had been a surprise. Today it was a surprise as well, but Posidormus coming out on top, and Swain could finish only third. So maybe not Frankie's day, who knows. Anyway, there are plenty of people here. The crowd's really pouring in because the weather's great, and that means the fashion's great. Lynda.
Well, I have Yvette Bright with me, who's not only a consultant, a millinery consultant, but she's made some of the hats that are here today. What's your opinion, apart from your hats, which obviously you think are wonderful?
Well, I think the young people that obviously come on a Friday, again, really try. They've actually spent a lot more money on wearing their hats than they're wearing a lot of shift dresses, lots of very plain, simple things, but they're going really mad with the hats. So, but very smart. I mean, not too mad where they're like silly, but very smart. And of course, cinema everywhere.
Well, you know, because we have the wonderful Frederick Fox, who is
making your hats.
Well, he has actually, but he's such a star and such a nice man.
Well, they're going to be copied all throughout Luton there. Just you wait and see. That's what happens. You know.
But also you have Philip Tracy, who's more modern, if you like, more contemporary. Yeah. But both of them are inspiring an awful lot of girls, new milliners. There seems to be an explosion of girls.
In the 60s, everybody wanted to be a shoe designer. Sort of, you know, now 90s, everybody wants to be a milliner. You know, make hats, and you know, there are a lot of people that are very well done at it. That, you know, that they actually sort of know all the millinery influences, but the old people. Ah, gosh, I didn't see those in there. There's a parasizer with a lace. I think it's a lace crown.
Parasizer is quite difficult to get, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They're all woven underwater. That's the way they actually make those. The chenille spot veiling on that. That black Merry Widow veiling has been very, very popular. Been a lot of black hats with plain, sort of bright coloured suits and things.
So you hate those, don't you, the wedding cakes?
Exactly. I mean, she's there to be seen, and she's got seen, so she's happy. But I mean, it's not a milliner's thing to at the end of the day. So. Or silk, chic, yeah, silk. We haven't actually seen many silk hats. There's been a lot of silk trims, but not, you know, all over silk hats. That's very nice. It's got a lattice cinema hat, you know, a trim on a cinema hat. So the lattice cinema brings a different look of the cinema.
It just lifts the cinema.
Exactly. I mean, there's so much cinema about it. It makes it much smarter. That's like an organza on a parasizer. Or
I love organza. There's something lush and
so
luxurious
soft.
about it.
Absolutely. There, it's beautiful. These little headdresses, so a little something on the head just to lift the head. That's an Italian straw that's blocked. There she is again, little something on the head. I think they're
Philip
very
Tracy was doing a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah, weddings and things like people are wearing those to get married in, which are just fabulous.
And is the cocktail hat?
Yes, exactly, all that sort of thing coming back. Oh, they're lovely, aren't Lily Valley sort of hanging down there.
But, you know, I was at the Oscars this year, and the only person who got a lot of publicity was Cher. Why?
Really?
Because she wore a hat. Wore a hat.
Well, she was
I mean, the body
something.
might be a bit strange. Yes,
exactly.
Yes, more on the hat, actually, than was on the body.
And then there's some sunflowers, and I think this again is an Italian straw. Someone's obviously done that themselves. They're not sort of thing you would actually buy in the shop.
What Freddie Fox says, loving hands at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's with a military gentleman who looks at his neighbour.
Oh, very smart. Every woman looks a man in a military uniform.
Indeed.
Again, the parasite, all to match with the outfit, which is very smart. It's quite stunning.
There is a fine line, isn't there, how you mix it with the outfit.
Yes.
I mean, the days when people used to put the belt for the dress around it.
Oh, it's just too handmade then looking, do you know what I mean?
That's marvellous. I love it. Strip coat,
Yeah, and the turkey feathers. Again, the lilac and the pink there is fabulous. Those big brims, very, very big brims are in at the moment. You know, people are going more extravagant because they've got used to wearing a hat. They will go for bigger brims and bigger trims.
But the brims should never be wider than your shoulders, otherwise you look like a mushroom.
Supposedly, but people do go over the top, so. But obviously, isn't the good thing thing around horses to wear sort of big hats. So this is showing the weather here. Look, lady here flapping herself. Well, it's so hot. Honestly, it's lovely.
Yvette, you've been marvellous. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll go over to Jeff, I hope.
Apart from the people in the Royal Enclosure that spend an absolute fortune on the clothes, down here in the paddock, people are out to have a good time, but maybe with a little bit less planning. So just follow me and we'll find out where they're getting their clothes from. Now over here, hey, come on, let's come through here. Follow me. Yeah. Where did you get your outfit from?
Oh, I wouldn't like to tell you.
Why ever not? You weren't shoplifting, were you?
Well, I tried, but...
How about you? Wonderful in lilac, which was my prediction. When did you plan your outfit?
About 3 weeks ago. Not long.
And when did you know you were coming to Ascot?
About 3 months ago.
So a long time in the planning, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. And what about the hat?
I got this about 6 months ago. Yeah.
Now, is it exciting for you to be here? Did you enjoy getting dressed up?
It's good fun. Really good fun, yeah.
A great day out?
It's a really good day out. It's really good fun. Everyone gets dressed up, the hats, the clothes, everyone's looking at everyone else.
So you're having a good time?
Really nice time, yeah.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Brilliant, it is. Now, feathers, yeah? Why did you choose feathers this year?
Why not? Feathers are good. Feathers are in this year, definitely. They're absolutely in this year.
So when did you plan your outfit to decide that you're going to be in?
About January this year.
Oh, so a long time deciding what you were going to wear?
Absolutely. You've got to plan these things far and ahead.
Absolutely. Now, he has a wonderful feather hat. Yeah, when did you actually decide on this outfit?
About March.
So a long time in the planning?
Yeah, of course.
What about your suit? Where did you get that from?
Coast. It's just the in make, isn't it? Just to get this ink.
Now, could I ask how old you are?
13.
13. This is the young day when kids are going to come to this thing. Brilliant, isn't it?
Jeff getting in there amidst the younger girls. Doesn't he do a good job, eh? Now, before those girls were born, in fact, our next decade for memory years is the 70s. It was the time when Lester Piggott was winning virtually everything.
Furlong mark now, and it's Buckskin from Sagaro. Then comes Bruni, then Citoyen on the right of the picture. It's Buckskin from Sagaro. Lester Piggott looking to his left for danger. Spixie's got Buckskin cold, and it's Sagaro now going into the lead as they race inside the closing stages. Here comes Ascot history. Sagaro's riding away from Buckskin and Citoyen as they race up towards the line. Sagaro's going to win it for the third time, but going to coast home at that. At the line, Sagaro the winner from Buckskin, second, Citoyen third. You win again.
Well, that was the royal party in the paddock back in the 70s, the glory days when Lester was doing it all, when this man was still riding at your very best. He was, wasn't he, in Sagaro? Truly wonderful horse, won the Gold Cup 3 times, trained in France by Francois Boutin, wasn't he?
Boutin trained him. Great horse he was.
Well, very soon we'll start building up to the big handicap of the day, the Wokingham, and there are 29 runners in this. The lineup includes a horse called 111. It's spelt 1 as in number 1, then 1 as in won the race, and 1 as in number 1 again. And he's a horse who's trained by somebody pretty special. She's called Joanna Morgan, and she was actually the first woman to ride here at Ascot.
Yeah.
Have you? And she was still riding as recently as last summer. She actually won on this horse twice last year. She then gave up her license in August, and the horse is also owned by someone pretty special.
She was a very good jockey, she was at one time, for a lady. Very good.
What do you mean for a lady? Don't you start saying those things. You know I'll hit you if you say that. But 111 has a pretty good each-way chance in the Wokingham Handicap, and the other interesting thing about him, apart from his trainer, is one of his owners. He's owned by the Heavenly Syndicate, and that syndicate is headed by Father Sean Breen, who's a priest in County Kildare in Ireland. He's a very well-known guy because he is one of their most enthusiastic racegoers. He's always blessing the horses and doing all sorts of things. He's never far away from Cheltenham, but he's also never far away from Royal Ascot, and he was certainly around meeting plenty of friends.
I don't
believe it, my God.
How are you? Are you well?
Oh, Sean.
How are you? You're on television here, you're on...
Well, I had to come to Ascot to find you.
That's
Isn't
right.
This man is so elusive, it's unbelievable.
It's great to see you. How are you doing? 14, £5 each way, and 25, £5 each way. Isn't running. Well, 15, 25 then. 25 each way.
The race green is only 10 rallies.
Oh, I'm the wrong race, sorry. Come on, come on, Zuleika. Come on, come on, come on.
I'm losing loads of money.
So
and I was hoping
so
I'd meet you.
Jack Berry. How are you, Jack? Father Sean Breen from Dublin.
How are you, sir?
I like you, the way you train your horses.
Oh, that's very kind.
I backed your horse in Windsor.
I know. Yeah, well, you can't back them all, can you?
No.
You don't all win.
You're a great man. Very distinguished man. Irish, I like your red shorts. He always wears these red shorts. Very distinguished. Big trainer of sprinters. He only trains sprinters. Isn't that right, Jack?
You think I was paying him, wouldn't you?
I'm not trying to get rid of you now. But if you want to get back it, if you want to back it, there he goes. Hope you're enjoying yourself, Julian. It's nice to be retired, isn't it? It's much more relaxing. A Greek palace.
Oh, I have that. I
Right.
have that because we're going to Greece in September.
You're not.
Yes. Mother's on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Ascot and Greece. You must have a very bad way of living.
I have a terrible. That's why I'm glad I met you, because I haven't told anyone my sins since I seen you last.
Actually, a girl like you would have no sins, would you?
Sure, I'm harmless like yourself.
Hope you have the holy water for this horse.
Oh my God, I have
I'll tell you, when you come here, you need more than holy water.
Yeah, you want a lot of holy water.
You certainly do.
Oh,
and a good horse.
That's right. The mixture of the two.
Good luck on Friday.
Thanks very much, Mick. Good to
luck.
see you. Good to
And
see
you
you.
too.
Good luck. Thanks very much. Enjoy your holidays now.
Right.
You made my day meeting you.
Did you hear it? Did you
Yeah,
Did you
made
ever hear a bishop to tell the truth in your life?
God love you, bless you.
Oh, do you know, it's marvellous to
marvellous
see
meeting you.
it. Marvellous to see it.
Things that happened to you at Ascot is great, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Father Sean Breen meeting and greeting all his friends on the racecourse, and plenty of them there are as well. Well, his horse is number 26, but we can get a full check on all 29 runners in the Wokingham Handicap with Jim.
Number 1 is Tadeo, Dean McEwen. 2, Brave Edge, Richard Hughes. Number 3, World Premier, Frankie Dettori. 4, Selhurst Park Flyer, Carl Lowther. Number 5, Sheltering Sky, Pat Edery. 6, The Puzzler, Michael Hills. Number 7, Triple Hay, Pat Dobbs, claiming the 7. 8, Double Action, Kieran Fallon. Number 9 is Cumate, Richard Hills. 10, Superior Premium, Robert Winston, claiming 5. 11, Law Commission, Steve Drown. 12 is Bold Effort, Michael Roberts. We'll actually be wearing our jockey cam in this race. Number 13 is Apache Red, Darrell Holland. 14 is Return of Amin, Cash Asmussen. 15, Demulla, Simon Whitworth. 16, Dance the Night Away, Dana O'Neill. 17 is Plaisir d'Amour, Michael Cannan. 18, Periston View, Kevin Darley. Number 19 is Rudy's Pet, Jimmy Fortune. 20 is Hello Mister, Pat McCabe, claiming 3. 21, Patsy Grimes, Tony Clark. 22, Cry Havoc, Martin Dwyer. 23, Chewit, Walter Swinburne. 24, El Mazi, John Reed. 25 is Aztrack, Alex Greaves. Number 26, 111 from Ireland, Kevin Manning. 27, Always a Light, John Egan. 28, Odgie, Ray Cochran. And 29, Hill Magic, Neil Pollard, claiming the 7. Literary Society doesn't go. 29, a big field, 1 short of the capacity for the Wokingham Handicap, and a really clear-cut favourite.
Sheltering Sky, the anti-post favourite, clear head of the market here at 5-1. Double Action is 9-1 from 8. Then it's 12-1, Always a Light. 14-1, Rudy's Pet at 111. 16's World Premier, Selhurst Park Flyer, Apache Red and Hill Magic. Return of Amin is 16 from 20. Then Plaisir d'Amour opened at 16 and has drifted out to 20-1. He's joining Periston View, Almazi. Then it's 25, The Puzzler and Triple Hay, together with Chewit, Aztrack and Oji. Law Commissioned opened at 25 and is now 33, together with Tadeo, Brave Edge, Cumate. And that's followed by 33-1 Superior Premium, Bold Effort, Dance the Night Away. 50 to 1, Hello Mister, Patsy Grimes and Cry Havoc. And the outsider of the 29, Don Muller, 100 to 1.
Well, there is Michael Roberts, who's going to be riding Bold Effort. And you'd see on the top of his cap there, that is his jockey camera, and those are the people he's talking to. It's lucky he doesn't have a microphone on, isn't it? But Michael Roberts, I'm afraid, well, we hope he has a good ride in this race. He finished second in the last race on Germano, but I'm afraid he picked up a 2-day suspension for using his whip without giving the horse time to respond. There's no number of times that they can use it, but the stewards felt that, in their opinion, they can either go for force or frequency, and they just said he didn't give the horse time to respond as he was hitting. Now, this race, 29 runners. What do you think, Willie, the Wokingham?
Well, they're right across the course. Cavalry charge. Nick Shane, when I was out on the track, said the winner's going to come from far side, high numbers. That's
really?
what he said.
Wow.
I thought maybe it would come from stand side. But there we are. It's going to be a cavalry charge, and may the best man win. That's all I can say.
Well, let's find out what our paddock team think. They'll be looking at each runner in detail, or as many as they can. Graham Rock and Jimmy.
Let's have a look at number 5, Selkirk, Sheltering Sky by Selkirk. Nice individual. Has been running over longer distances, a mile and 7 furlongs, but was dropped to 6 at Newmarket. He obliged, and I think he's going to appreciate this very stiff 6 here. Trained by John Dunlop and ridden by Pat Edery.
And just walking forward there in the green blinkers, I'll try and pick up the number of cloth as this one walks by. It is number 19, and that's Rudy's Pet, trained to Yorkshire by Lynda Ramsden, ridden by Jimmy Fortune, and blinkered last season and back on today, visored second start this season. Hasn't really cut much ice this year, but won twice last year, including on easy ground over 5 furlongs, and the best form is at 5, so it'll be interesting to see how Rudy's Pet gets on over 6. Very little encouragement so far this year, but trained by Lynda Ramsden, who's won plenty of big handicaps in her time. Not one to be ruled out. Number 19, Rudy's Pet.
Big crowd come down to see the maximum field here, 30 runners, and the one we're having a look at now is number 27, Always a Light, ridden by John Egan and trained by Carl Burke. Always a Light by Never So Bold, drawn 3. Now I'm just wondering whether Nick Chain, the clerk of the course here, is right. I agree with Willie. I thought the winner was going to come from the stand side. He's saying that it's going to come from the far side. 30 runners, we're going to have 3 races, and well, for me, I think maybe for me the low numbers. Always a Light we're looking at now, drawn number 3.
Number 13 there is Pashy Red, one of 3 runners trained by David Ellsworth. This horse just got up to win at Epsom last time. One of the rides of the season from Kieran Fallon to get up right on the post and beat Bodfari Pride by a head. He's got an £8 penalty, and in my book that gives him an awful lot to do here. He's got plenty of weight for what he's done, but he's going the right way, this small colt. Pashy Red, trained by David Ellsworth, ridden today by Darrell Holland.
Number 26, 111. This is a pretty decent animal, this. Bay Gelding, 4 years old, doing very well at late, winning handicaps at the Curragh and Navan, trained in Ireland by Joanna Morgan, ridden by Keith Manning. Latest 14 to 1 in the market. Now he's one that is drawn high. He'll be coming out of box 24. That's number 26, 111.
Yeah, Joanna Morgan said she thought her horse would probably be better on fast ground. In fact, he's won on heavy ground, this horse. 26, 111 for Ireland, Joanna Morgan and Kevin Manning. He was up on his rear legs earlier on, just getting a bit playful, but they're in a paddock for a long time and it's a warm day. Number 18 there, Periston View, trained by Peter Calver in Yorkshire, and this horse usually runs well in big handicaps. You certainly couldn't rule him out today. He was a good 6 of 29 to Sheltering Sky at Newmarket on his return. That's his only run of the season. Just got the feeling he's been prepared for today's race. Drawn 18, that's just in the middle of the field really, and he's often wears a visor and does so today. Number 18, 20 to 1 chance, Periston View.
Let's have a look at number 14, Return of Amin, drawn 18, and the mount of American French-based rider Cash Asmussen. Cash is no stranger to Ascot. He knows his way up this course pretty well. Looked well in the paddock, I thought. He's in good heart at the moment. He's won twice over the distance this season, and for me, he's not one without a chance. He's coming out of stall 18. There is Cash, just jumped up in the saddle. Cash, a very tall rider, but a very strong rider as well. Very much liked by the French public.
And Cash just walking out onto the course. Then actually Return of Armin, trained by James Bethel. He won the Lincoln this year. And there we are, just filing out gradually all the jockeys. One or two left to mount. Number 4 there. Last year's winner, Selhurst Park Flyer. It was 25 to 1 a year ago. Won't be that price this year. Very, very impressive at Epsom last time. Really goes well on that track. But he too has got an £8 penalty. And I think you'd have to say that with that extra weight, he's got it all to do here. Ridden by Carl Naldo, who's having a cracking season. But comes out of stall 20. That's number 4, last year's winner. Selhurst Park Flyer, trained by Jack Berry.
Next one to have a look at is World Premier number 3. We'll see if we can pick him up for you. There he is, the mount of Frankie Dettori, 9 stone 8. Plenty of weight to carry here. This would be a good weight carrying performance if he can get his head in front of this maximum field of 30 runners. 16 to 1 in the market at the moment. I should think maybe could each way bet that. That's number 3, drawn 12, World Premier.
And here we've got Michael Roberts just lobbing down to the start there on the shot. It is on bold effort, number 12. Horse's ears pricked, going down quietly there. It's great for viewers to be able to just see what it's like to ride a thoroughbred, not at top class, not at full speed like this, but Jimmy, it does give a real feel for what it's like to have that horse under you.
Well, yeah, you can see the horse's ears. This is how a horse is talking to his jockey. The jockey is watching his ears, and when the ears go forward, the jockey knows he's looking at something. When the ears go back, he's listening to the rider. And you are learning and you are listening to the horse through his ears. And this is how you know what a horse is going to do. As you can see, the horse's ears went forward then they went to the side. He's listening for something. He's seeing things at the side. He's talking to you right through his ears. And this race is a very important race because jockeys are riding all these sprinters going down to the start, and it's very difficult because sprinters are very competitive, and if you get upsize another horse, he might just take off. So everybody tries to keep well apart from one another.
Our very own Dr. Doolittle, Willie Carson, the man who talks to horses, and horses talk back to him.
Well, you see the horse's ears going backwards and forwards.
I'll tell you, Willie, why we just got this chance. A quick tip from you in this race, because I was so cross with myself for not saying refuse to lose before the Hunt Cup and sounding really clever. So just give me a name of a horse.
Well, I think I will go for Pageantry. Because he broke the ice and sheltering sky for me.
And I'll go for Hill Magic with Neil Pollard for David Ellsworth, right down the bottom of the weights, 8 stone 10. Jimmy.
Well, that view we're getting between the ears, if a jockey loses that view, he's in some sort of trouble. Nearly down to the 6 furlong start, and well, it's a bit of a scramble this. The charge of the Light Brigade had nothing in this. I once was talking to a man, he said if he'd have been in the charge of the Light Brigade, he'd have liked to have gone in on Papageno and come out on Abanan. Well, the one going in was the slowest horse in the world, and the one coming back was one of the fastest. 33 to 1 at the moment, our jockey Cam. I wonder how long he's going to be in touch.
Just walking behind through the gap in the middle, 29 runners, the stall stretched right across the course here. 1 absentee, the bottom one, number 30, Literary Society. Number 12 there, bold effort again, Michael Roberts. Just standing there quietly.
The ground drying out all the time here. It's getting a little bit dead at the moment, really. Really, to be truthful, we don't want it here. Believe you me, the sun is lovely, but maybe this evening a little shower of rain on it would just actually freshen it up again, because it gets a little bit like marzipan as gradually the course dries out. Walking round nice and quietly, number 2 there we can see Brave Edge just turning to our left of our picture.
Number 24, Almazi, trained by Chris Wall at Newmarket and ridden by John Reed. He won 4 races last year and then shot up in the weights as a result of that. He goes well on easy ground, but this year, in a couple of runs, has finished 5th both times. Again, one you just get the feeling that Chris has looked at the Wokingham and thought, well, this will be a great race to get my mare ready for.
Almazi, a rather nice filly. She looked good in the paddock. She won 4 last year. She's yet to hit winning form this year.
Let's get the latest prices from the betting ring. I'm sorry, we'll go to those
Number
later
9
on.
getting a little bit worked up there, as you can see, Graham. This is Kermat, trained at Newmarket by Ed Dunlop, ridden by Richard Hills. He's just taken this 4-year-old colt by Danzig down nice and quietly. Now, I've seen him before. He runs a bit free, and he has got worked up a little bit. He sometimes runs in a tongue strap, and I just didn't have quite a close enough look at him in the paddock to see. Well, it's 33 to 1. We know that Kermit is 33 to 1 in the market, but let's go and see where some of the other runners figure.
Jim, quite honestly, with 29 runners, this is a serious puzzle, and I'm sure the bookies are mad keen to get the punters' money here. Neil, how strong is the betting in a race like this?
Terribly weak on course, Jonathan. It's a carbon copy of the Royal Hunt Cup on Wednesday, exactly the same as I told you there. They price up. Basically, I mean, the race is too hard. People taking a view just are having £5 each way on the boards. There's no trade money because they haven't got serious liabilities. They've done their anti-post business on this already. We haven't seen any moves for anything worth talking about. Sheltering Sky's a solid favourite at 5 to 1, has hardly moved in the market. But literally, if you looked at bookmakers' books in this race, you'd see columns with blank sheets. They wouldn't just, literally they're laying here. Sheltering Sky, double action at 10 and 9, Chewit at 25. Astrac, there'll be a move for that in a minute, Jonathan. The trade firm's going to move on that at 25 to 1. Always a Light, 12 and 10. And a bit of money for Oggy. I've just seen that back to win £15,000 in one book at 33 to 1. But if you studied the books here, if you had a look into their ledgers, you would see columns which are blank, where they just haven't put any bets in about horses.
This is one for both of us to sit out.
It is really, John, a lottery.
Number 23 there, Chewit, a tough, consistent gelding. He goes on the all-weather, goes on the soft, sorry, goes on the firm, goes on the good. He won well at Goodwood last time, beating Brought to Turmoil over 7 furlongs. He's effective from 6 furlongs to a mile. As I say, a hardened campaigner, and every chance today.
In fact, his last 4 wins over the last 2 years, in fact, have all been over 7, Graham. And, well, the 6 here is about 6.5 anywhere else. So I think it should suit him. He'll be coming out of stall 22, the mount of Walter Swinburne.
Chewit just walking through there.
That's an interesting one there. Oh, it's not number 2. I thought it was. This is number 21, I think.
I think it's 21 there. Yeah, Patsy Grimes, very disappointing in her recent races. Can't give her a chance.
Tony Clark in the saddle, usually comes from behind. Be coming out of stall 10.
World Premier in the orange and brown there, number 3 World Premier. Has a chance on his York run, but gone right up in the weights. Let's see the very latest prices from the betting ring. So Sheltering Sky still the favourite, clear at 5 to 1. Double action is easy, 8 out to 9. Good money for Always a Light back this morning, and here on the course, 12 into 10, 14 to 1, bar those 3. Number 1 there, Tadeo. Now this horse is in absolutely belting form at the moment. He was 3rd to Bishop's Court in the Vodafone Dash at Epsom last time, and that winner is actually in the Kingstown Stakes later this afternoon. Before that, he won a handicap under 10 stone at Haydock in May by a length from Al Salmon. Effective from 5 to 6 furlongs. He's trained by Mark Johnston in Yorkshire. Tough, consistent, but he's drawn 29 right against the far rails, and according to the clerk of the course here, Nick Chain, that's a good draw. But Jimmy and I think, looking at the evidence of what we've seen over the week so far, you need to bounce the stands rail. So that's why bookmakers like the Wokingham, Jimmy, it's such a lottery.
I think I agree with you. I wouldn't. I think I'd leave it alone, keep the money in. The Puzzler, this is a nice one to have a look at. This is trained at Lambourne by Barry Hills and ridden by his son Michael. And well, he's a nice horse, this, and one thing, he's by Sharpo. One thing that they do like is plenty of give in the ground. Well, as I was saying, the ground's drying out all the time here. It's got a bit plasticine-y. I think maybe the ground might have suited him better yesterday, but if he puts his best foot forward out of stall 8, sure to give Michael Hills a good ride. 25 to 1 in the market at the moment. A very open market here, though. Even the favourite's a bit uneasy.
Yeah, the Puzzler was nibbled at this morning at 33 to 1. He's not consistent, but he's got a chance on his best form. Number 2 there in the red and white, just walking to the right of our picture. Brave Edge Trade by Richard Hannon. He was a good second over 5 furlongs at York to Stuffed on his penultimate start, the one before last, and a little bit disappointing at Kempton last time. I think he's got plenty of weight for what he's achieved. Number 2, Brave Edge.
Out of a good mare, Daring Dirtish, he's produced some very good animals. I thought he looked very well in the paddock. He'd have to run right up to his best, in fact, with 9 stone 10, but I wouldn't put him out of it. He's drawn 4, and if Graham and I are right, I think that's where the winner's going to come from. Somewhere between 1 and 15. They're starting to go in nice and quietly. They're old campaigners, these. They can nearly go in on their own. And it's going to be a pretty hard race for Jim McGrath a call, so why don't we join him now?
Thanks, Jimmy. Yes, they're lining up well. That's Kumate on the near side in the blue colours. Always a light just beside him. Our jockey cam horse will be coming from stall number 6. Yellow blinkers there, you see a bold action. Bold effort, I should say. Bold effort. Michael Roberts. That'll be from the stand side. They'll split into at least 2 groups, possibly 3. Let's have a look at the betting. Sheltering Sky 5s, double action 9 to 1, always a light at 10s and 14s bar. Going in Chewett over on the far side. That's number 20. Hello Mister on the near side. Pat McCabe, who knows him so well, taking the ride. Hello Mister going forward to stall number 2. Sheltering Sky, you can just see Pat Henry there just patting the favourite. He'll get in behind horses. That's 1-1-1, the Irish contender going in on the far side. They're just about ready. One to go in, I think. That's El Marzi. No, another one. Law Commission. El Marzi going in. Law Commission will be the last to be locked away. That's it. Under orders, and they're away. Hello Mr. missed it, and so too did Cry Havoc. And in the early stages, Kumate down near the inside, one of the first away. Brave Edges up there as well. Over on the far side, up the centre is Selhurst Park Flyer, and Tadeo over on the far side from De Muller and Periston View as they sort themselves out in the early stages. The jockey cam horse Bold Effort is in behind horses on the near side. Tadeo over on the far side, the leader from Periston View, and Selhurst Park Flyer up there blazing the trail in the centre. As Track on the near side is there from Kumate, and Brave Edges not that far away, followed by Bold Effort in behind them on the near side. They were followed then by Always a Light, Sheltering Sky in behind them. There's the jockey cam on Bold Effort at this stage, lying in behind Kumate in the blue jacket as they're in 3 groups as they head up now towards the 2 furlong marker. And out in the centre it's Selhurst Park Flyer, who's just the leader as Track leads them on the near side. Kumate is there as well from Brave Edge. Here comes Sheltering Sky, Bold Effort on the stands rail. Over on the far side there, Superior Premium, Triple Hay, 1-1-1 and Chewett. They're stretched across the track. Selhurst Park Flyer on the near side is just the leader here. Selhurst Park Flyer, Chewett and Superior Premium on the far side. Dance the Night Away is flashing home. They come towards the line. Selhurst Park Flyer got there. From Dance the Night Away, Superior Premium third, Chewett fourth. Then Sheltering Sky followed further back in the field by Return of Amin. Then Kumate, and behind them Tadeo. The rest have finished in a pack. Apache Red a long way back. To Muller, I think, the last to finish. But here is Selhurst Park Flyer in the centre, just in front from Dance the Night Away. And it looks like, yes, he's put together back-to-back wins in this Wokingham Handicap. Just getting there from Dance the Night Away. On the far side, it's Superior Premium, who looks like he's got up to take third, from Chewett fourth, and Sheltering Sky in 5th position. The judge is giving the official placings now. The winner is Selhurst Park Flyer, owned by Chris and Antonia Deuters, trained by Jack Berry. What a festival he's having, what a Royal Ascot, and ridden by Carl Lowther. Second is number 16, Dance the Night Away. Third is number 10, Superior Premium, and fourth, number 23, Chewett. But Sheltering Sky in 5th position. But the official placings, and the winner is Selhurst Park Flyer, 2nd year in a row. Let's see how he did it.
So the 5:28, got it there.
Well, it has been the most extraordinary season so far for Carl Lowther, and so it continues. His first ever Royal Ascot winner. He still works in the yard for Jack Berry. It's the first time he's ridden this horse at Ascot, because last year Paul Roberts won the race on him, but he's got a slip disc. Carl Lowther taking over and doing exactly the same as last year, coming up the middle, and the horse hangs on. What a game-old star he is.
Dance the Night Away, finished very fast there. And he was just a little, the post came too soon, but this winner, you know, winning it 2 years back to back.
That is some achievement,
That is a big achievement for Jack Berry, a real big achievement. What a great little horse he is. And the second horse finished real fast, didn't he? And the draw doesn't seem to have made much difference because it's 25 and 28. And that's how they were, first, second and third.
Very good point. The winner returned at 16 to 1.
The winner has scored officially by a head with 3/4 of a length between second and third, and the time was 1:15.57. 1:15.57. And very interesting to note that last year when Selhurst Park Flyer won this race, he ran off a rating of 94. Today, £6 higher, off 100, and he's run right up to the good form he showed when winning at Epsom. The 59th winner of the season for Jack Berry and the 26th of the season for Carl Lowther. Let's have a look now at the full SP on the Woking.
Yeah, wonderful performance under an £8 penalty for captain. The winner, number 4, Selhurst Park Flyer, returned at 16 to 1. Second, number 16, Dance the Night Away, 33 to 1. Third, number 10, Superior Premium, 40 to 1. And fourth, number 23, Chewett, 25 to 1. The non-runner there, number 30, Literary Society, and the favourite at 9 to 2, Sheltering Sky, 29 rand.
And in the end, Selhurst Park Flyer hitting the front a long way out, and he just had to be brave because he had nothing to race with in the middle there. And Willie, that's always difficult for a horse.
Well, he's such a genuine horse, this fella. He knows what to do. He knows Ascot, and he actually ran up the middle. And when we got to the 2 furlongs, there wasn't a horse anywhere near him, and he was about 1.5 lengths in front, 2 lengths in front, and he just nearly got come. Now look at this.
This was so exciting. We all started shouting here, didn't we?
Yeah.
Going through the gap, and
Get
we're
up
all
the inner there, Mace. Up the inside. There's a little gap there. See the little gap up here? And then Mace goes for it.
Q Mace on the right. Yeah.
See Mace's arms going, pushing the horse. Go on, get in there, go on. And he'd be clicking away at him, and look, I thought maybe he was going to win until we got the other view of him. And you see his stick? I don't know why he's doing his stick, because the horse has got blinkers on, he can't see that stick, but he might be giving him a tap behind the saddle. Go on, son, go on, go on. And you can see Selhurst Park Flyer way out there, about 6 lengths in front, and now I think Mace's horse is just getting tired. He's dropping back now.
Fantastic view though, and it really did show you there what it's like to go through that gap. There isn't an awful lot of room. You can see the yellow blinkers on the right. That was the horse that had the jockey camera on, with Michael Roberts riding in. Bold effort and a really wonderful view. But you can see there's Selhurst Park Flyer winning there by what, just about a neck, I would say, wouldn't you?
He's won by a head.
He's won by about a head from Dance the Night Away, who's run a great race for Brian Meehan. And right over on the far side, the third horse coming in, Superior Premium.
Yeah,
Chewett's run on well as well. And also Sheltering Sky, the favourite, not beaten very far at all.
He's finished 5th, 6th.
Sheltering Sky has,
yes.
And our man with the cameras finished about 8th, which I think proves that it certainly doesn't hinder the jockey at all. But the horse that got it right and made all that early running up in the middle of the course was Selhurst Park Flyer. There is Carl Lowther weighing in. And he really has had a tremendous season. But let's talk to his boss, the man who got the horse ready for the occasion. In fact, we won't. We'll talk to the owner of Selhurst Park Flyer, Jonathan.
As far as I'm aware. Yes, Chris Deuters, you're almost speechless down here.
I'm sorry, yes.
Reliving the success, second year running. It's a tremendous achievement.
Yeah, he's a wonderful horse. He's given us, you know, a tremendous time. He comes to himself at this time of the year. We always thought he needed a bend. And last year we thought we were happy because the visibility was bad, and when he passed the winning line he was still looking for it. But he's proved today, he's won it twice Ascot before, he's proved today that when he's on his form he can do it.
I mean, to win a race like the Wokingham once is to win the lottery. To do it 2 years running is indecent.
Yeah, well, I did say to my wife this morning it'll be a bit greedy. But I can't explain it, you know, it's just wonderful. He's a lovely horse.
I mean, Posidonus, who won the Hardwicke, is 6. This old boy's 7, and he seems to be better than ever.
Well, we'll try and bring him back at 8. But yeah, I think sprinters do. As they get older, you know, they get stronger, and this is his time of year.
He was carrying a penalty as well, so he really was up against.
He had everything. A penalty against him, the draw, perhaps. I'm not so sure, but you know, no horse has won it twice in a year, I think, since the 30s, and it's wonderful.
Chris, what about you? You have a lot of horses with Jack. Your colours are very popular. How many do you have?
We have 23 in training, of which Jack has 21. He doesn't have the other 2 because they're jumpers, and they're with Venetia Williams. But you know, he trains the sprinters, and that was why we went to him in the first place. I love sprinters because they stay around a while, and I like horses that, you know, people can see. You can see on the course over many years.
It's a wonderful day for you. Very well done.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Many congratulations to the connections of Selhurst Park Flyer. That really is the most tremendous achievement, to come here with an £8 penalty and win the Wokingham Handicap 2 years running. Well, the racing has been sensational so far, so has the fashion, but we can get a little bit of a combination of both now with Lynda Berry.
Hi, now just have a look at this. This is the most marvellous picture, and it's been painted by, or sketched by, Katie O'Sullivan, who's with me now, one of our best young artists, especially with horses. This is marvellous. You have an exhibition on in London at the moment.
Yes.
You did. When did you do this?
Yesterday and the day before, quite quickly.
And do you do sketches? What medium is this in, for example?
In oil and pastel, which makes it rather sort of unfriendly because it doesn't dry very well.
But it
hence
looks
it's
marvellous.
sort of rather messy.
But why have you got this interest in racing and horses that you do?
Well, it's a great sort of medium. People are very supportive in racing. It's wonderful. People commission you. It's a great sport to work in. It's lovely.
Right. Well, let's just have another look at one of the others. While I ask you, you've also been doing things with gold leaf, and you put horses underneath gold leaf.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people paint horses beautifully, and I'd like to do something different that was more artistic, sort of bring a different view to the horse art world.
Well, listen, thank you very much for coming in. I think they're marvellous. I think they really are good, and it's nice to see somebody creating something here, as well as these wonderful horses and all the lovely colours as well. Thank you, Katie, and well done.
Thanks, Lynda.
Stay with you. Oh, sorry. The fashion competition. I'm so sorry. I thought I was still doing art. Can I give that to you? That would be lovely. Now, we have obviously 3 dresses that we'd like you to have a little look at, and you decide what you're going to do. We have an A, a B and a C, and what you want to do, that is A. That is the wonderful camel outfit we talked about earlier, and the telephone number you want to ring is 0891 555 303, and the calls are 50p a minute. That is marvellous. And this is our next outfit. This is B. Should you wish to vote for it, you go 0891 555 303. Lovely lace. Wonderful lace. You must ring this number and you decide what you want to do. So you say outfit A, outfit B, or outfit C. And this is B we're looking at now. So if you like that, ring the number and say outfit B. And now outfit C. So if you ring the telephone number, there you are, 0891 555 303. There we are, that's the competition.
And what the viewers have to do is match that A, B and C in the correct order to agree with Jeff and Lynda, and ring in on that number 0891 555 303. The calls will cost you 50p per minute. So if you think the order should be A, B, C, then say so. But if you think it should be B, A, C, you say that. Or whichever the 3 in the order to agree with our judges. Well, back to racing now, and the most fashionable man at the racecourse right at this moment in time is Carl Lowther. He joins me now because he's just won the Wokingham on Selhurst Park Flyer. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much.
What a season you're having.
Yes, he's flying.
It is. Do you have to sort of pinch yourself and say, what's going on here?
Definitely.
Well, he's 24 years old. That's his 47th winner of the season. But not that long ago, you still claiming £7. You're an apprentice for Jack Berry.
Yeah, things just took off. Got an excellent agent, and she's got me a few good rides on telly, and this took off from there.
Well, that's the thing that makes the difference. And you're not from a racing background, are you?
No, not at all. My dad's a mechanic and my mum's a hairdresser. It just, through my grandparents watching the horses at the weekend, that I really got into it at a very young age, and that's the only thing I've ever wanted to be.
Oh, well, fantastic. This must be one of the greatest moments of your life so far, hey?
Oh, yes, he's a star. He's so genuine. He does everything that you ask him to, and he's done it all alone up the middle on his own. I could see the horses on the far side. At one point, I thought they were ahead of us, and I just asked him to quicken up a little bit sooner than I wanted to, but just to make that ground up, and he's done it all on his own. He's so genuine.
And your friend Paul Roberts rode him last year in the race, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Paul's done all the hard work on him at home, and unfortunately, he's got a problem with his back, so thank you, Paul. It's a shame that, he's missed this one, but he won it last year, and that's 2 for this horse.
And you might just get a double, Bolshoi in the next race, eh?
Well, he's in good form. Mr. Berry's horses are flying at the moment, so hopefully he'll run well.
OK, Carl, well, thank you very much, and many congratulations. Bolshoi runs in the Chesham Stakes. That's due off at 4:20, and you can see that over on BBC Two, where we'll be sharing coverage with the cricket at Lord's. The second test England against South Africa. But Bolshoi, one of 19 runners in the race. It does look very competitive indeed. They'll be flying over the 5 furlongs. If you thought the Wokingham was quick, this is...
Now
Welcome to Ascot to viewers on BBC Two. Welcome back if you've been with us on BBC One. Well, you'll have seen Carl Lowther ride Selhurst Park Flyer to victory for the 2nd year running in the Wokingham Stakes. He didn't ride him last year, but the horse winning back-to-back Wokingham handicaps this year at 16 to 1. One piece of news for people who've been watching us all through the week. We've had an awful lot of inquiries about what happened to French Ballerina, the Irish mare, who you will have seen pulled up very early on in the Gold Cup yesterday. And I'm sorry to have to report she did actually break her leg, her hind leg, very high up, which then causes an awful lot of pain, and she then had a hemorrhage, and they did have to put her down. But Willie, a very unusual injury.
Very unusual. Coming out the stalls, this doesn't happen. I think it's the first time I've ever heard about this happening. Possibly she had a little bit of a hairline fracture, and the jumping out made it break. But unfortunately, she's not going to be breeding anything, because that's possibly what they were going to do with her.
Very sad, because she'd won 6 good races on the flat. She'd also won the Supreme Novices Hurdle at Cheltenham, so very sad for French Ballerina. But Carl Lowther, the man who won the Wokingham, has a good ride coming up on Bolshoi in the King's Stand Stakes. We've got a big field, 19 runners over 5 furlongs, and named for you by Jim McGrath.
Number 1 is Coastal Bluff, Kevin Darley. 2, Yarmalak, Alex Greaves. Number 3 is Averti, Jason Weaver. Those colours on Yarmalak are wrong, incidentally. They're green with a white disc, spots on the sleeves. Number 4 is Bishop's Court, Jimmy Fortune. Number 5 is Bolshoi, Carl Lowther. 6 is Garmine Lake, John Reed. 7, Cathedral, Michael Tebbett. 8, Easy Call, Walter Swinburne. Number 9 is Midnight Escape, Seb Saunders. 10, Peperi, Cash Asmussen. 11, Ted Burrow, Tony McCulhane. 12, Tipsy Creek, Richard Hills. 13 is Out to the Roof. 14, Bolin Joanne, Kieran Fallon. 15, Heaver Girl Froze, Pat Edery. 16, Ladana from Ireland, Michael Canan. Number 17, Lock Angel, half-sister to the great Lock Song, Frankie Dettori. 18, Lord Kintyre, Richard Hughes. 19, Landed Dreams, Darrell Holland. And 20, Saint Marine, is Dominic Burf. So 19 to go. To the Roof doesn't, and here's how they bet.
Bolin Joanne, the favourite, to open 4 to 1, touch 9 to 2, back to 4 to 1. Saint Marine there, 5 to 2, 5 to 1 out to 11 to 2. Lock Angel steady on 8. Bolshoi touch 12 back to 10. Then it's 10's Bishop Court from 12. 14 Land's Dreams from 12 to 1. Carmine Lake is 14. Piperi's drifted from 12 to 16, joining Averti on the same price. 20 to 1 Ladana from 14, joining Heber Golf Rose, Midnight Escape, Coastal Blush, Cathedral and Easy Call. 25 to 1 Yarmalak, and it's 33 to 1 Ted Burrow, Tipsy Creek and Lord Kintyre.
Well, it's a pretty big field for this race over 5 furlongs. Willie, they're just going to go flat out.
It's the same as the last race, exactly the same. The high numbers, possibly, I don't know. That horse is amazing, going straight up the middle and winning. I thought that was more when it was chopped up the most.
Well, so you can't get it right every time, Willie. The difference, though, with this race and the last race, these are better quality horses, and that's why it's a Group 2 race, and the last one was a handicap, and the best quality horse in the field is Carmine Lake, and we last saw her winning the Abbey at Longchamp, and she really is a very quick filly, but this is her first run this season, and she hasn't run for 223 days. Last time she ran was in the Breeders' Cup, when she was a bit disappointing, but this day in France, Willie, she got it dead right.
She's a tough filly, and she came through there. It's a very competitive race. These were the best sprinters of all last year, and there she comes in. She just gets up and wins. She just beats the Freddie Head, cricket head horse on the inside. Pas de Réponse, who is actually this year has been beaten a couple of times. But this is Robert Sangster's possibly his only hope left of having a winner at Royal Ascot this year.
Well, she is just one of the 19 runners, and our Paddock team have been looking at them very closely as they've been in the paddock and as they've been cantering down to the start. Let's join them now, Jimmy and Graham.
Let's have a look at Carmine Lake. There you go. You just saw her win the Abbey. She's a nice little filly, this. She's not the prettiest filly in the world. She's got a funny head carriage, as you can see there, but she's sure got a motor. I thought she looked very well in the paddock on this, her very first run of the season. She's 14 to 1 at the moment. If she reproduces that form of the Abbey, then she's got a great chance, Graham.
She has. That was on fast ground, and it's a lot slower today, though. Just to see how she gets on. Unplaced in the Breeders' Cup over 6 furlongs on dirt, Carmen Lake. And number 6 there wearing the jockey cam for this race. Number 20 just walking through there. That's the favourite, one of the favourites, Sainte Marine, trained in France by Robert Collet. Very, very good form this season, and won the Prix Saint-Georges at Longchamp, the Prix du Gros Chantilly. Beat Piperi by 2 lengths on the last course, having beaten Paddock the previous time. But she should be suited by the ground and is certainly entitled to be one of the favourites.
Fizzy little filly, there she is. You can have a look at her. She's a very active type. She had 2 handlers all the time in the paddock, but I like her very much. As Graham was saying, twice a winner in France this season at Chantilly and Longchamp. Dominic Burff in the saddle, who's ridden already 90 winners in France this season.
Let's go and join Jonathan Powell down in the betting ring, talking to Neil Wilkins.
Well, Jim, the last race looked a lottery, and the bookies probably had quite a result, with all outsiders filling the first 4 places. Here it's very different. Only 2 horses being seriously backed. Neil.
Yeah, the last race, John, one fortunate managed to back the winner, but he took under the odds. He had a 14 Monkeys, £500 at 14 to 1, and the SP was 16. But I don't suppose he was too sad about losing £1,000 because he's managed to find the winner. Here, the one for money is Bolin Joanne. As soon as they go to 9 to 2 against her, the Hills and Ladbrokes reps are stepping in and taking it. I've seen an 18,000 to 4, 9,000 to 2 a couple of times. Very serious office money for this one. Sainte Marie's been shored up at 11 to 2 and 5 at times. Lock Angel's very easy, 7 out to 10. Carmen Lake's very easy, 10 out to 14. So really, there's only the 2 for serious money here, Jonathan.
Well done, thank you.
Let's have a look at number 14, Bolin Joanne. What a nice filly she is. Last season, she was very consistent. She won twice, and she placed in her other 5 races. She looked well in the paddock. She's had 1 run this season, and she topped up her first group win, in fact, when winning at York.
Yeah, from a marvellous family owned by the Westbrooks. Let's look at another one. Number 14 there, Bolin Joanne. Number 17, there we are, Lock Angel. Absolutely hacked up at Bath, and then a very good 3/4 length second to Bolshoi in the Temple Stakes at Sandown. Bags of speed, a great big strapping filly. 10 to 1 from 8 to 1. She is the mount of Frankie Dettori, and she's drawn number 2 of the 19 runners.
Number 4, Bishop's Court, the mount of Jimmy Fortune, trained by Lynda Ramsden. Quite a consistent type of gelding in this, 4-year-old by Clan Time. In fact, he won the Vodafone Dash at Epsom on the Derby meeting, and he won it really well. Different track to run on here. He's got a climb. Number 4, Bishop's Court.
19, Land of Dreams. Won the Flying Childers at Doncaster last season. A decent 4th to Yorkie's Boy in the Palace House Stakes at Newmarket. Seems best on fast ground, usually held up and comes late. Trained by Mark Johnston, ridden by Darryl Hart.
Number 3, Averti, the mount of Jason Weaver, trained by Willie Masson. And Willie Muir, I should say. Averti, I thought, looked very well in the paddock. 7 years old now, and at 6 years old, he won the King George Stakes at Goodwood, which was a good effort. I wonder if he's kept that form this year.
Looking for number 5, Bolshoi. This is another Jack Berry flyer. Bolshoi won the Temple Stakes last time. Needs to be held up, come very late indeed. Ridden by Carl Lowther, who's just won the Wokingham. Going forward there, number 5, Bolshoi.
I'd like to see the French filly going in. Graham, more betting.
Yeah, 4's Bolin Joanne, 5 Sainte Marine from 11 to 2, 9 Lock Angel from 10, 10 to 1 Bolshoi. Let's go and join Jim McGrath in the grandstand.
Thanks, Graham. That's Cathedral going forward. We've got 3 to go in. Cathedral on the near side. Our jockey cam is on horse number 6, Carmine Lake. John Reed wears the jockey cam, and he'll come from stall number 5. Favourite now 7 to 2. Last one going in. That's it. Ready for the King's Stand. Under orders, jumped as 1. On the near side, Cathedral, one of the first away with Lock Angel, and up there in the centre showing great early dash, San Marine. But it's Lord Kintyre and Lock Angel on the near side, just leading Carmine Lake, the jockey cam horse in the early stages. San Marine out in the centre, followed by Bolin Joanne, and behind them is Coastal Bluff, Cathedral, the stands rail. Then Ted Burrell, Paperi is further back from Midnight Escape and Bishop's Court. In behind them is Tipsy Creek, followed further back in the field then as they sort themselves themselves out by Land of Dreams, a long way out of it with Lynda as they come up towards the 2. On the near side, though, as they come to the 2 furlong marker, Lock Angel blazing the trail from Lord Kintyre. In behind them, Carmine Lake out in the centre, battling away Coastal Bluff with San Marine for France. Then Bolshoi finishing fast, followed by Midnight Escape. Inside the final 3 parts of a furlong, Lock Angel holding on from Cathedral. Then Bolshoi and Lord Kintyre. It's Lock Angel on the near side being grabbed by Bolshoi. Bolshoi wins the King Stand from Lock Angel. Third, then Lord Kintyre, followed by Cathedral. Then San Marine, easy call behind the Bishop's Court. Further back in the field, Carmine Lake, and then Lynda. The rest have got very weary indeed as they cross the line. But let's check the placings. It's Bolshoi who's got there for Carl Lowther. A great double for him. It's number 5, Bolshoi, the winner, from number 7. I should say, I beg your pardon, it's second, number 17, Lock Angel. Third, then, number 18, Lord Kintyre. And fourth, number 7, Cathedral. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4 after the King's Stand.
Well, a big race double for Carl Lowther. He will never have had a day like this in his life before. Bolshoi always has to come from way off the pace, and you can see him there on the outside in the white colours. Lock Angel with Frankie Dettori, the sheepskin noseband on these rails closest to us, has made out most of the running, but for the second time in 2 races, Bolshoi's come and done it in the very final strides. Lock Angel's run a wonderful race, a half-sister to Lock Song, who won this in 1994. Lock Song used to go and blaze and make the running like this. Lock Angel's tried to do the same, but Jack Berry's run of Bolshoi and Carl Lowther, they've come late, they've come fast, and I'm afraid they've got her again.
Well, this Bolshoi, he's some horse, he's really improved this year. They've taken the blinkers off him, and he seems to come home a lot straighter than he used to, because before he used to hit the front and usually swerve, but now he seems to be running straight. As he's got older, he's got more gentle in his ways, and he's doing the job properly. And there's Carl Lowther punching the air, keeping his horse going. A great double for him today. Now here we got the camera, John Reid pushing his horse, and unfortunately it's first time out for her, and she hasn't sort of run up to her last back end's form. But it's a great day for Carl Lowther, and the time for the race was 1 minute 01.10.
But a big race double for Jack Berry and for Carl Lowther.
Distances 1 1/4 lengths and 1 1/2 lengths, and the time, which already have 1:01.16. But Bolshoi completing a hat-trick, owned by Mrs. David Brown, and ridden and trained by Jack Berry, his 60th winner of the season, and Carl Lowther, his 27th. But what a great double they've had. A big sprint double here at Ascot today. Lovely horse, Bolshoi, by Royal Academy, out of Mainly Dry. Formerly John Magnier was actually involved in the ownership. He's not now, so that's been some disappointment for him. But this Royal Academy, he gets them all shapes and sizes, and they can do all things. A King's Stand winner, and he's got a horse like Oscar Schindler, who can come out and win over 1 3/4 in the St Leger in Ireland. But he's been held up at the back of the field. A very cool ride by Carl Lowther, finishing fast on the far side and coming on to win well. Lock Angel, she's run bravely. She's upheld the family name today with her performance for second. And Lord Kintyre is up there all the way. Jockey Cam horse. Carmine Lake just getting a little bit tired. And that's what it's all about. Royal Ascot. And a Royal Ascot winner. Carl Lowther, he won't have had a happier day than this on a racecourse. Wait, okay. Owned by Mrs. David Brown. And trained by Jack Berry. There's Jack with the red shirt. And he always aims a couple of really good sprinters at this meeting. His best 2-year-olds and also his best sprinters. A 186-1 double for Jack Berry and Carl Lowther. And let's check the SPs on the King's Stand Stakes.
The result of the King's Stand Stakes is a replay of the Temple Stakes. First, number 5 Bolshoi at 10-1. Second, number 17 Lock Angel 9-1. Third, number 18, Lord Kintyre, at 33 to run. And there was one non-runner there, number 13, To the Roof, and the unplaced favourite was number 14, Bolin Joanne.
What a day for Jack Berry and for Carl Lowther. Great day too for any punters who back that at 10 to 1. Really fantastic there for Bolshoi. Jack Berry's tried so many times to win the King's Stand Stakes with some very good horses.
And now it's been dropped down to Group 2, and Jack still hasn't had his Group 1 winner. And he's won the race he's always tried to win, and it's a Group 2 now.
Well, Carl Lowther's certainly the man of today, but Willie, I think you and Jimmy have decided on a ride of the week, most certainly.
Yes, certainly we have, and we're giving it to Walter Swinburne for exclusive. It's a really artistic piece of riding.
He did. He settled the filly well and very well indeed. Well, tonight you can see the last two races today and recap on all the events of today, and the highlights they're on at 12:15 on BBC One. You can also recap on the dress competition as well. We'll show you the first three, and you just have to put those three in the correct order. We'll be back here at Ascot tomorrow in Grandstand with 4 live races starting at 2 o'clock, as you can see, and the big race, the Ladbroke Handicap, at 3:35. Our thanks to all the team here, to Jeff and Lynda, who were doing the fashion, to Jenny Bond for the royal commentary, to my friend Willie here, to Jimmy and Graham Rock in the paddock, and to Jonathan Powell, who's been doing all the interviews and down in the betting ring, and of course to our commentator Jim McGrath. It's been a fantastic week. We've ended it in sunshine, and we'll go back to sunshine at Lord's and to Richie Bennett.
And I hope everybody's enjoyed it.
Thank you, Willie.
And I can tell you